12, stick with check that one out.
6-1 bullet, 2-point start, take your shots.
Officer still stands for time? No.
Woohoo! Good evening, everybody. Oh, I love that intro so much. Thank you, Grizz. Thank you, Grizz. Definitely sub if you're not talented individual. Thank you, the architect, for the tunes in the beginning there and the tunes you hear right now. Thank you so much, architect. Appreciate that. And thank you, everybody that hung out on Harsh's live earlier. Man, what a great discussion. I'm going to share the link with it. If you didn't watch it, definitely go show some support and love over there on that video. Great video. Great discussion. Covered a couple topics there in the beginning. Some current events, shout out. Like a little breaking news kind of thing. Speaking of breaking news, prayers to all of the victims over there in Niagara Falls, where that border event took place. I haven't been able to follow too much about it, but prayers to all those over there as well. And we'll go ahead and say what's up. Everybody shout out Harsh, appreciate him. I was just sitting there in chat and he made me a mod, so thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it, and it's an honor to be a mod for your community. I appreciate it, and I take it very seriously. Thank you so much. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It's the free way to help out. What's up, Dope Soul? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming to check it out. DS, good evening. Summer, hello. Ticket number 7. Ticket number 9, Detective Golden. What's up, Angel? You got to send me the link when you get that list up, Angel. For real, I want to see that list. What's up, Sheerluck? Is it this the line? What do you mean the line? Q behind? Cut. Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy. Bianca, ticket number 11. Thank you so much. Brandy Wine, ticket number 13. Thank you, Caddy. Lucky number 13. Jinx, thank you so much for showing up. Actually, hold on. Let me, for some reason, I gotta go to this. Hold on 1 second, and I will get to the hellos real quick. There we go. Miley, number 14. Oh, look at that. Please, thank you. It's the free way to help. Always support. Ooh, I'm so excited to get into the show tonight. You know what we've been getting into the last couple shows? Oh, yeah. We're going to be getting into some more for a few more shows. Trust me, it's messed up. What's up, Typically Unique? Ticket number 17. Thank you so much for hopping in. Yes. Definitely show Typically Unique some love, too. Great podcast over there. I'd love to have you guys on again. If you guys would like to, just let me know. It was a great show before. Thank you, Miley. Appreciate that. Thank you for the sub, Renee. Appreciate that. Mark and Betty, ticket number 18. Oh, yeah. I just want to holler, hey, you guys, from the Goonies. It's a great movie. Great music. You know, those movies back then had great soundtracks, too, you know? They really did. Yeah, that was in the very beginning where you see the face and the thumbs up in the Evil CJ show. In the very, very beginning, yes, that is me. That's the intro I've used from the very beginning. You can go to the very first show and see that was my original intro. I've just added on to it because I like to highlight other content creators as well. So shout out Architect, shout out Grizz. For sure. Right, Kid Kitty? Oh, really? Yeah, I have not kept up on it. I was hanging out in Harsh's live. And what's up, Stardust? Gobble gobble. Happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate. Well, pre-Thanksgiving. Please be safe out there because I've seen the roads. And man, those roads are crazy. Please be safe out there. What's up, Nefarious? Please be safe out there. Take your time. You know, take your time. Aw. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you, Jinx. Appreciate that. And then here's Typically Unique's link as well. Hold on one second. Let me get that. Here we go. And there's Typically Unique's link as well. Please go sub. So, what's up with this? Well, first, I do, again, please, I'm going to share this again. And then we're going to get, you know how I always like to bring you guys little informative videos and such. Whoa. When it comes to just anything, you know, little informative stuff. I like to show you guys little videos. We got a little video on Thanksgiving, right? And how to handle the different topic conversations and to survive it. But first, I'm sharing this again. Shout out Harsh. Appreciate you so much. Definitely, if you haven't watched it, there's a lot of you in here already that I was already seeing in chat. So thank you. If you haven't yet, definitely go check it out and give a thumbs up and leave a comment because those two things are the free way to help all of us. Definitely had a great conversation over there. Shout out to him. Now, yes, awesome show. Awesome show. Now, we're going to get into something about Thanksgiving real quick, and then we're going to get into the topics. Thank you again for joining. Appreciate you. It's going to be a beautiful evening.
Some people can't wait for Turkey Day. Others are dreading what could go down at the dinner table.
Yeah, it's going to be a little awkward this year.
Fox 13 News caught up with people downtown and asked them what topics they think are best not to bring up.
Politics, religion.
Politics and religion, those are the two things you don't mess with.
Tim Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad.
And I'm a Democrat and my in-laws are Republicans.
I would say when I was younger and I just got out of college, it was like talking about kind of your career.
Relationships were another touchy subject that Utahns suggest you tread carefully discussing.
Right now, for us, it would mainly be our wedding and who all
What's up,
wasn't
Nicola?
invited.
Ex relationships, family members that used to be there, no longer there. Definitely
Right,
avoid
detective?
those.
So what's the best way to handle that conflict?
It's much better to say, hey, pass the yams.
Have another cocktail.
Deny.
But in all seriousness, relationship expert Curtis Morley says avoiding conflict for the goal of a perfect holiday can actually create more tension.
Those topics are perfectly okay as long as you're in the space to listen with genuine curiosity to the other person's point of view.
He wants
There you go.
everyone to remember the purpose of Thursday. It's about being thankful for the person sitting across from you despite the differences.
Surrender the outcome. Don't try and control the holidays.
What's
Don't
up,
try and
Unravel?
make everything perfect. Just do your best and give God the rest.
And if in doubt,
Watch football. That will help. It will distract everyone.
Watch football.
Please do it.
one of the people we interviewed also said to avoid critiquing the cook. Other subjects could be avoiding bringing up weight gain or a relative's rocky past. And for me personally, people complaining about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship. Reporting in Salt Lake, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Hi, y'all.
All right, that's another video for later. But we always have to do a little bit of, informative videos here. The more you know, we got to share little informative videos, whether it's about cell phone data or Thanksgiving. So I appreciate you guys so much. A little knowledge here and there about everything. So, first of all, I want to ask you guys, what is this DM fake friend conversation? Anybody know? Anybody know? What is this DM fake friend conversation? There you go. SRMR data, Detective Golden. We're still waiting on it. And you know what? I have a feeling we're going to be waiting a long time. Right? The SRMR data. So we're going to get into a couple videos here tonight before we get into some more of this University of Idaho, University of Phoenix conversation, and we're going to be getting into some more, trust me. A little bit of Sigma Chi. Yeah. Little bit. So thank you all for coming in and hanging out. I appreciate you. There's a couple content creators I want to highlight real quick for their hard work and efforts when it comes to the truth and justice of any case that's out there. This is a little one from Innocent Until. Shout out Innocent Until. Appreciate your hard work and your efforts. We'll go ahead and share this. That way you can see the screen and also know that you are subbing to the correct link. So please, if you're not subbed, I'm sure you are already, but if you're not, please go definitely hit the sub. Does great work for truth and justice. We're going to check out this latest video from Innocent Until. And this talks about the DM and BF. Now, Harsh brought up a question earlier in his chat and was talking about, or there was a question in the chat that was asking about, being distracted from all the other stuff from maybe BF and DM and thinking they're guilty or innocent when it comes to all the stuff that surrounds both of those people. So I thought this was a fitting video. We're going to go ahead and check this out. Definitely show it some love. I'm going to put the link in chat as well so you can add it to your playlist. Shout out Innocent Intel. Appreciate your hard work.
People could get in and blah blah blah.
Innocent Until. What's going on, man? Listen, some of y'all caught it, some of y'all didn't. I did do a video the other day, man, about the the Brent K body cam footage that I ended up taking down. I didn't like the video, man, so I'm either going to edit that video or I'm going and put it back up, or I'm just going to re-record a new one, Lord willing, because I do have some things that I want to say about that, man. I pray everything is well for you guys where you're at. And that's that. I'm often encouraged by you guys, man. You send me a lot of content. You show me a lot of things, in the comment section through your interaction. And I often tell a lot of you, like, you need to start a blog. It's my opinion. You should start a blog or your own, platform, YouTube or something, get it going. And I mean that. I don't just say that to stroke.
Hey, what's up, bro?
So
What's up?
I got a little bit of a surprise video, here
Thank
for
you
guys. This young lady, she started sharing her thoughts with me. And then I asked her, I said, why don't you have your own platform? And then, she sent me some voice notes, and I told her, you literally recorded this to send it to me, and you could have recorded it.
Appreciate
you. To put it on your own platform. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna make a YouTube video out of your content. So that's what I have for you guys. It's very interesting. It's not anything that we haven't rehashed time and time again, because we've been thinking about it from the beginning. But I do want to bring this up, man. I am a believer in following the stars, not like literal stars, but I mean the figurative aspect of that analogy. And I've been thinking more and more, mentioning it even in my videos, man. We have all but lost sight of the roommates, man. And so I think this young lady just raises some questions that we've all asked before. She breaks it down in her own, format. So I want you guys to hear it, and it also helps me cheat until I get this new video back to you guys. But for the record, like I say, number one, I think her thoughts are very articulate and worth hearing. And number two, it does fit with the pattern of thoughts that have been coming back to my mind. But damn it, with everything going on in the case, we forgot about the roommate. So let's just get to it, man. We might talk a little bit more at the end, but I definitely want to know what you guys think. Let's go. Hey guys, I didn't realize when I was watching this originally, but then I realized that watching it on editing, if you can't tell, this is a conversation that we were having on Instagram. And also, the young lady, many of you can relate. She is, I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this, but you can hear it in the background. She's a mom, so she was mothering while sharing these thoughts as well. So you can hear that in the background, but you can absolutely hear everything she's saying. I know I could, so I know that I would be able to too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. Somebody, and I know they say, oh, this is a party house, people could get in, and blah, blah, blah. If, let's say it was Brian Koberger. If Brian Koberger had never been in that house before, somebody had to tell him where to go. Which door, who was in where, right? So somebody had to let him in.
Especially with the change in, elevation when it came to the second floor. You know what I'm like? But maybe that's why the good vibe light sign was there, was because the good vibe light sign was more like a night light that was provided for that elevation change. So that way, if anybody was walking through there in the dark, whether they were sober, intoxicated, or somebody that was new to the house, they wouldn't hurt themselves. Because I can see somebody breaking a frickin' toe or breaking their nose when they hit that spot if they don't know about that change in elevation and it's that dark. So I really honestly think the good vibe light sign was a form of a night light for that change. So I can also say that somebody that didn't know the layout from the good vibe light sign and the illumination on the change, somebody could also not know the layout and also avoid breaking their toe or their nose, because one of them's getting broke if you're tripping over that hump. That's just how it is.
I think somebody had to let him in. Somebody had to let him know when they were sleeping because there was hella cars out front. Kaylee had a brand new Range Rover nobody had ever seen. Y'all just had a gang of people over there last night. And so somebody's just going to run up to the house like, oh yeah, I'm just going to kill anybody that's in there. So, if we are to believe that this was Brian Koberger and he was driving around up and down the street before he even went in there, then you saw the DoorDash delivery. So then you know that people are awake. So now, unless you know for a fact that you are Rambo, you're not going to just go in here with a knife. Like, you know what? I'm killing every.
Like I said, you're not going in. Listen, you're not. It's not chaos, strategic. Chaos. It can be chaos, strategic. It can be chaos, strategic. It could be strategic, chaos. But it cannot be chaos, strategic, chaos. And what I mean by A, B, and C is the drive there, the crime itself, and then the drive after. One of the main reasons I went to Moscow was to show you guys the route that if somebody was planning this crime, they would have took that instead. And if you've seen the route that I'm talking about, again, it's a no-brainer. It just don't make sense.
Everything moving. How do you know that you're not about to go in there and
It's
the
not
whole
Joe Dirt. You're not Joe Dirt pulling up to the frickin' house either. Especially if you planned it. Especially if you were there multiple times. You're not pulling up like frickin' Joe Dirt trying to deliver a pizza. It's not happening. BK does not have a mullet.
frat house from across the street wasn't in there playing beer pong about to roll you
D-Smith?
out, and then now they're stabbing you with your own knife. And then now they
BK
gotta
does
hide your
not
body
have a
so nobody
mullet.
knows that you were even here. And apparently you don't have any friends, so nobody would even be looking for you. So Dylan, her story's weird. Because were you scared or you thought they were partying? If you were scared, but you were still texting and calling to see, like, y'all okay? So when you didn't get a response from anybody but Bethany, why didn't you then call the police? Why didn't you go checking then? Oh, because you thought that the person was still in the house. I don't believe a single solitary word that she said. I think that that was a stupid story that she tried to make up to sound like, oh, I heard something going on, but I wasn't sure what was happening. You knew exactly what was going on. You tried to make up a stupid story.
Damn straight, Kelly. It's a new t-shirt. BK does not have a mullet. Joe Dirt does. BK does not.
To cover up what
BK
happened
does not
on your
have a
end from
mullet.
your perspective, and it sounds dumb. That's why there's so many holes in it, because it doesn't make sense. She tried to make it up. She's not that smart. So that's why we ended up with this. Oh, I looked out 3 times, and oh, I saw somebody in black, and oh, I was scared. But you didn't call 911. You didn't call your boyfriend. You didn't call Hunter then. You didn't buy. You know what? It sounds like they're walling in here. I'm going to head out. You didn't leave? No, nothing? But no, you can't leave, because if I leave, then it's going to look like I had something to do with it. So now I have to sit here for 8 hours. 8 hours is crazy. 8 hours is crazy. And then just, the 911 call for an unconscious person. So everybody keeps going back and forth about if that's like like some type of internal shorthand. But no, the police statement that they put out said that they thought that someone was in the room passed out and could not respond to them. I have a screenshot of like the police bulletin.
Well, and Katrina, like when you look at the verbiage, because, you know, like I've always said this whole time. What's up, Motoman? Like I said this whole time, when you look at the verbiage, who's to say the statement in the PCA is not from a third interview who's to say the statement in the PCA wasn't suggested questions? Because you got to remember, everybody, she lawyered up quick. She lawyered up quick. So do you think she's going to be very forthcoming? She waited to call, well, somebody waited to call 911 for hours. Somebody doesn't want to talk to LE. So do you think in an interview they're going to talk to LE and you're lawyered up? I highly doubt it. And that's why I come to the conclusion a long ass time ago that it was probably suggested questions. Did the person have skinny eyebrows? I don't know. Did the person have bushy eyebrows? Sure. Was the person shorter than you? No. Was the person the same height? I don't know. Taller, maybe? No, I wouldn't. Well, maybe a little bit. Oh, just a little bit? Okay. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. I've been saying it for a long ass time. It's that simple.
That they put out. So it's not some type of internal shorthand. Somebody actually said, hey, I think they're knocked out. I need help. But they've been dead for 8 hours. So it smelled like death in there. You got 4 dead bodies cooking in the house. It stunk in there. So all this, you heard what was happening overnight.
What's up, Mandy?
You supposedly was like, oh, this is crazy. Too much for me. I'm going to go to sleep. Then you wake up in the morning. Hey, Xana.
And like I've always said, when it comes to my experience, we've already went over it. I'm not going to throw up a trigger warning, but no. You know what smelling salt is. Imagine something way worse than smelling salt and it being all over. I'm sorry. Just think of smelling salt, okay? Way worse. And that's why we've been going into the University of Idaho and the Phx deal and stuff like that, Mandy, because money does talk. And ever since my trip to Moscow, I've came to the conclusion that the university runs that damn town. With what I've experienced and what I saw and what I've started to look into, the university runs that damn town. Politics and everything. And I'm just explaining how. And we're getting into it. If you missed it, the last couple, definitely check out the last couple lives. We've been digging into it. And we're going to be digging into some more tonight. The fact that they had a non-disclosure agreement 48 hours before the community had a decision or even knew about it, and then they had 90-minute meeting when it comes to the decision, I'm sorry. That's why I say the deal with the University of Phoenix was manufactured just like the PCA was. It came off of a shitty version of shady ass shit from the Cliff Notes. They didn't even take the time to make the path different. They just copied it. And it's disgusting.
Nah. Xana's not opening the door. Let me call
that.
Hunter. That doesn't even make sense. And it stinks in here.
Innocent until.
Why? Because I saw how some of the community is not flourishing like the university. Like when I show up to 1122 King Road on the first day and I pull you guys into the back of the property and I can see the wood on the 3rd floor deck and the ends of the boards are starting to go like this. and it was restored just a few short years ago. And you drive around in some of the communities and you even see roofs that need to be replaced, and I'm sure they can't because they're not flourishing like the university is. In fact, they're donating and paying taxes instead, even more, because of this deal that they're making now. Yeah, it's messed up. The community deserves better than that. And they can't speak up. So you know what? I will.
Ain't that something? I told you, man, the young lady definitely said what she wanted to say. I want to reiterate a couple of things, man. Number one, I personally don't know these young women are guilty of anything, Dylan and Bethany. From the very beginning, though, I have considered them the best suspects. I do think that they have all but been forgotten in the melee of everything else going on. So I am, in the interest of justice, I don't say that just to sound good, not unhappy at all, to just remind us that there are people like right there. We don't have to worry about necessarily the other 2 or 3 DNA profiles. I'm not saying forget it, but before we even get to any of that, whether the judge can be trusted, whether Ann can be trusted, all these other questions we have, before we even get to that, like, let's not forget that the two most likely people to be involved in this, if not absolutely guilty of it alone, are still the people that were left alive at the scene. It's still very befuddling to me in a way that it's just like, how can you look yourself in the mirror and say that this is okay, that people won't even consider them, that they will begin to verbally slander you? And I don't even like to use that word, attack. Has been so attached to the victimization culture that we have made the hierarchy of living in this day and time. But they will verbally insult you, verbally assault, whatever words you want to use, just for being willing to consider that these two young women are possibly culpable.
Yeah, when you question things that need question, you have a lot of that shit going on. And that's one of the things that, people that just hang out in the shows don't truly understand when it comes to us creators, is just as much as there is support, there's hate and jealousy as well. And it's sad because if people took the negative and the hate and the jealousy and just combined it on the force for truth and justice, because let's be honest, I've always said it, none of us are sitting at the water cooler. We truly don't know. And if you do, you're not on YouTube because you wouldn't have a job. But when things need questioned, just think about all the cases that if things weren't questioned, then injustice would be happening even more. Why has the Innocence Project even been created? Think about it. To question things that need question. And when you're about the truth and justice, you explore all theories, thoughts, and opinions with respect and evidence, and you continue to question the things that need question, because that's what truth and justice is. And if people could take that negative and put it towards the positive, can you imagine? There wouldn't be any of this foolery going on, and if it was, it would be minimal, because these people that continue to do the foolery would keep themselves in check, because then they go, you know what, there's a force that's a hell of a lot stronger than mainstream media. It's the people. Some of us only are comfortable to sit and chat. Some of us are only comfortable to type and chat. Some of us are only comfortable to sit back and make videos. Some of us are comfortable to do all of it and do live. And that's the thing. Each person contributes their own unique quality and ability. But if you do it in a positive and productive way, change happens. And we see a lot of the truth and justice that isn't happening in this country. When, let's think about it, we're 2023 moving into 2024. We're better than this. We should be better than this. And we will be better than this, but we have to do it together. We have to row the same boat. The boat of truth and justice, not personal, not ego. Truth and justice, because that's why we do what we fucking do. That's why us creators put in these long ass hours doing all this work beyond being on a show. We literally wake up and work and do a show or a video and go to sleep and work and same thing and same thing and same thing. This isn't about us. This is about truth and justice, because this could be us. Let's do it together.
Well, in this situation, in these tragedies. So shout out to her for bringing that back up. I want to know what like, where do they fit into this? And everything that's being unveiled, everything we're discovering, everything we're finding out about this tragedy, and things that are still questionable all this time later, a year later, where do they fit in now for you? You know what I mean? It seems like we're learning new things to make us ask new questions, but then there are also questions that should have been answered long ago that we're still questioning, if not even more so now. And where does Dylan and Bethany fit into all of this for you? Also the students that were called over, that is.
And that's a good question. And thanks for making that video, and thanks for your opinion on their innocent until, and thanks for the support too. I appreciate it. It means a lot. What do you guys think? I mean, it's been a question from a long ass time, you know. Only until trial. Only until trial. We got Jinx hopping up backstage. I think Yoli's joining me here too soon. What's up, Jinx? How are you?
Hey, darling. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. We're just getting into some stuff.
See lots of lovely people in the chat.
Yeah. Uh-oh, something's happening with the audio. No, I can barely hear you. It's like cutting out. Something definitely is on. No. Is it like a Bluetooth or something, maybe?
No, it's my tablet.
Oh, there we go. That's better.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's better. What's up, Jinx? It's been a long time since you hopped on. What's going on?
Well, you know, I've been doing a lot of the Flora stuff. Yesterday was the 7-year anniversary.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a show soon. And I appreciate the support when I came and showed Coach Kev some love on his live. Shout out Coach Kev. Always appreciate Coach Kev. Would love to have Coach Kev on again in the future. Always enjoy having him on. Yeah, I went to his live, and thanks for the support in chat, Jinx. I appreciate it too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always dropping your link, darling.
There we go. Coach Kev. Definitely go sub to Coach Kev if you're not. Yeah, it is. 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years yesterday, and Sunday we did a memorial walk, which we had a really good turnout. I was so thankful. We had about 30 people show up, and we did a little memorial walk, and you know the backstory. So we made sure that when we walked past the fire station and City Hall, and we hung bows on every single light post in front of their buildings.
That's sweet. You've done so much for that case. Appreciate all your hard work for that too. Yeah, she's done a lot of work for Flora for that case. Not too many people know about it. We do shows. Unfortunately, I wish it got the same amount of views as it does some of the other stuff we talk about. But I'm sure there's a reason why it's not. You know what I mean?
Probably,
we definitely need to have a show again on it for sure. Highly motivated.
Kevin's doing it too.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I bet I can wrangle Coach Kev to come on too.
That would be great. Have Coach Kev on for a Flora episode. Yeah, for sure.
Get that good firefighter perspective.
Yeah. Have Silky on there. You're more than welcome. We'll definitely have to. All right.
Oh, hi everybody. I see all the highs. Hi, y'all.
So there is a video. I'm going to be showing a couple content videos here of creators that I love to highlight. Idaho4 Revealed has also a video, Coincidence or Betrayal. And I was like, ooh, that's a great headline. We'll have to check that out too. We'll be getting into the university stuff here soon. And that's going to be interesting as well, especially when we get into the bad press about the University of Phoenix, all the lawsuits, and then more stuff to read about the deal itself. It totally runs that town. It's horrible.
Yeah, I've been watching some of yours and like it's flooring how they act. I'm telling you.
It is like Delphi is flourishing more than Idaho, and it makes
right? That's the thing.
It makes no damn sense because it's like, what? Delphi doesn't even have a freaking college, so I don't know. Because I've seen a lot of the stuff that's been updated in Delphi. You know, it's actually their community. When you're talking about like financially, it's run very well over there. You can definitely tell.
Yeah, I mean, we have Delphi is like 20 minutes from Purdue campus. Is in Lafayette technically.
Okay.
So I mean, we have a campus nearby Delphi, but it's not like Idaho, obviously. I mean, like
right where it's like in your city. You know, like it's like why is with the school making that much? Why is the community? You know, because it's one thing, but when you can tell that a roof ain't been replaced in 15 years, that has everything to do with the financials of the city, not the homeowner. Because it's like, if people had the money, they would obviously do it. You know, it doesn't make sense. So that is close proximity though. Only 20 minutes, huh? Purdue.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, the Purdue campus is approximately about 20 minutes or so from Delphi. Depending on which way you take, you could probably get there faster, honestly.
Maybe they do get a little bit from there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know it's the thing. Carroll County is where both Flora and Delphi happened, and Purdue campus is technically in Tippecanoe County. So, I mean, they're bordering counties. But yeah, it's real sad. Like I said, yesterday was the 7-year anniversary, and they lost. Galen Rose is the mother, and she lost 4 daughters in that arson fire. Kiara, Keone, Cariel, and Kiara. So real hard. I can't even imagine like losing 4 daughters in one night and still no justice has come to those girls.
I mean, we're talking about 4 victims here too. It's sad that this even takes place, you know. Right? And then the shady shit that's behind it. The shady shit that's behind them, you know.
Local LA, right?
All of them.
Yeah. It is. It's heartbreaking. I don't even know what to say. Like, where has our country come to? This is small town corruption, but it's just going up the scale. Every higher up that comes in, it's just bad.
And it's 2023, about to be 2024. You know, it's like what? With the technology we have, with just it's like what? It makes there, like I said, there's a reason that others can't talk because they have a boardroom above them. You know, you can say this, you can't say this. You need to do this, you need to do that, because it's all about the 4%. And here, you actually get the damn truth, and you get the questions that need asked. Not like, MSM, and they want to promote their own story, or they're getting information from sources close to the investigation to spin certain things, and then just it's the confetti. Create more questions, so then you dilute the truth that's beyond all the confetti.
I don't understand it. Like, what is wrong with being honest and being truthful and stop doing all the shady backdoor dealings that you're doing?
Mm-hmm. Moto Man, if you go off of the PCA, it talks about being on Nevada and going different directions. That's the only way you can go off Nevada and go in different directions according to the PCA. So, what's up, Ruckus Rocks? Thanks for hopping in, buddy. Appreciate it.
Oh, Ruckus, hi, darling.
Yeah, what's up? All right, so we're going to check out this Idaho4 revealed episode about coincidence or betrayal. And thank you all for coming to hang out tonight. I appreciate you. Here's a link to the video if you'd like to have it. I like the music. All right, so it says 6 days before she would begin fall semester, at the end of which she didn't graduate.
Wow.
And we're going to get into some of this body cam deep dive here soon. Not tonight.
When did you say this was recorded, CJ?
August 6th.
Okay. Oh, goodness.
August 16th. Sorry. August 16th.
Okay.
What would be dark in the middle, though? 16 days later, September 1st, 2022, Oh, I can't wait to get back into this body cam deep dive. Me too, Brandywine. Okay, a few hours later, September 2nd, 2022. $12:30 at night. Hey. All right. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I meant to pause that. All right. It says January 28th, 2022. Ethan Chapin, traffic stop, Moscow, Idaho Police Department takes Chapin's phone number, vodka, and car. No citation. What is it with always getting the phone number? You know? Like, for real. What is it with always getting the phone number? You know, that's how they got the number for BK, was they went to the August traffic stop from BK and used his cell phone number that he gave them at that traffic stop, and they used that to to get the search warrant to search the phone.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, isn't that? They used from a traffic stop that happened in August. All right, this one says August 16, 2022, Kaylee calls noise complaint, Moscow, Idaho Police Department location. Students off campus rental takes Kaylee's phone number and the ID. Remember, when we get into the body cam deep dive, you'll see the episode. It'll be one of the first ones where you'll see them take an actual photo of it. Uses personal phone number to record info, no citation, verbal warning. And there's so many of them out there. If I'm not mistaken, they weren't even, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Isn't that the one where they weren't even, I guess they were called for a noise complaint. There was one where they weren't. They just showed up. Just, yeah. When we get into the body cams, you'll see a lot of what would take place. It's very interesting. A lot of body cam. So September 1st, 2022 at 8:52 p.m. Madison Mogan, noise complaint, Moscow, Idaho Police Department takes Maddie's cell number, other info, Officer Blaker threatens physical harm, no citation, verbal warning. Yeah, the no reports. Yeah, there's a lot of those too. September 2nd, 2022 at 12:36 a.m. Zaner Kernodal, noise complaint, Moscow, Idaho Police Department takes Xana's cell number, ID, other info. Officer Payne states a threat, no citation, verbal warning. August 16th, 2022, Dylan Mortensen's surviving roommate was physically present when Officer Rosendahl arrived, but not once do we see Mortensen engage with them. September 1st, 2022, Bethany Funk, the other surviving roommate, greets officers Blaker and Payne, neither of whom address Beth as they've addressed 3 who are no longer with us. September 1st, 2022, no officer asked Bethany for her cell phone number that night, nor was anyone interested in Murphy's personal information. Just wait until we get into the body cams. It's coming. I just have to get through this University Phoenix stuff. And I'll play it again in slow motion too. Hold on. I'll slow it down to 0.25. Because I know you guys want to see this part. 0.25.
I really want to be like, excuse me, Mr. Tree, can you get out of the way?
Right? Right?
Sorry. I've been thinking that for a hot second.
No, you're good. You're good. Need a good zoom in on it, you know? I'm sure it's out there. If anybody has a good version that zooms in, go ahead and send it to me. Here's the links. And then they just toss it back. Gloves. The guy on the right. Let me get rid of this again so you guys can see the whole thing. Okay, guy on the right does put on gloves. They're looking at the can. They notice the coat. Whoa, what's this? He
Is
puts
this
his gloves
typical
on.
protocol?
Well, they're
I don't
not.
feel like,
They don't look like latex, do they? They look like wool gloves. They
right,
match
that's
the
what I was.
jacket. They match the jacket. It even looks like it has a logo where you would get an IV at on your hand. It looks like there's a logo on the glove too.
Like on the back of the hand, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's like a cloth glove. No, they just threw it back. I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe it wasn't as significant. Where'd the coat go? It wasn't there during the body cam when they stopped in Gentleman on the Banfield. Came back around in front of the car and talked to the three guys, one that had the sunglasses in the middle. There was no coat there, so it happened after 3:30 in the morning.
Now, is that a fire
The next
hydrant
day.
or a waste?
Yeah, it's a fire hydrant.
Okay.
But that right there is a specific spot where kids were stopped before the crimes took place. And then this is investigators noticing this the next day, quote, same day the crime took place, because it took place in the early morning hours.
Right.
So this was later on. Same fire hydrant. Yep. And that's because we'll be going through the body cam stuff again. So we will be starting over with that episode where it starts off at the Banfield. So we'll just be starting it over, and we'll be starting that up probably this weekend or early next week. There's just going to take a few shows to get through this University of Idaho stuff. Yeah, they just toss it back and then walk away.
Oh my goodness. What on earth?
All right, let me get it back to normal speed. Shout out Idaho4 revealed. Yeah, I can replay it. Hold on. That's not a problem. Let me go back and I'll slow it down again, Detective. Let's see. And I'll share the link again with this video, too. It's a Fox News clip, I think. So if you can find the actual... I'm sure I have it in my huge-ass folder, but it just takes forever to try and find it. If you guys have it, go ahead and send it, and we can get the clearest version of it. Here you go, Detective. Let me remove this. All right, there we go. And here, let me, in fact, let me get rid of us too. And I will get rid of the banner just for you, Detective. There you go. What's up, Cindy? Thank you for hopping in.
Now, have these two fellas been identified? Like, you can't really tell if they're in casual, like, detective clothes or if they're, like, street
Not,
cops or beat cops or whatever.
not to my knowledge. It just says police on the back.
Well, that's real convincing, huh?
I mean, and you look, it looks like some kind of, some kind of athletic shoe boot mixture, some cargo pants and a jacket. So, and they don't have latex gloves because I would imagine if they did, they would have put them on, right, to go through the jacket. Because what if it was something that was soaked or had a item in it that was relevant to the crime? I'm sure they, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, that's weird.
You guys have good questions in chat. And since we got the zoom in, I'll go ahead and do it one more time. And just toss it back where it was at. Yeah, it just says on one of them, it just says police.
Right, innocent until, I mean, is this an experience or is this something more?
It doesn't even look like it looks like a Ford Edge SUV also. It don't even look like a vehicle that, no, it's not a Ford Edge SUV. What is that? That has specific taillights that stick out. See how it sticks out beyond the rear windshield?
You think
Even
it's
with
like
the tree.
What are those, 4Runners, like a Toyota 4Runner maybe?
I don't know. What kind of vehicle is that? A Jeep? No, that's not a Jeep. Cherokee?
Maybe a Cherokee, yeah. I'm trying to think of which ones kind of have a
What
boxier
taillights
looking
stick
bumper.
out? Yeah, what taillights stick out like that? I don't even remember seeing one on the road, but then again, I just noticed Elantras. So I don't. Nissan Rodeo. I don't know.
Oh, it could be
I'll
Nissan.
leave it on here for a second. Take a screenshot. I'm gonna take one too. What vehicle is that? I don't know. I've never seen taillights like that. That's a Cherokee. I'm thinking a Cherokee. Is that what it is? A Commander or Compass? Because the first thing that popped into my head was like a Cherokee or something. So that's along the same lines as what popped in my head. Now, there's definitely a back windshield. You can see the tint through the tree branches. So it's an SUV of some sort. I just can't put my finger on what kind of SUV it is. Oh, you think so, Mark and Betty? Well, here, I'm going to rewind it. I'll give you another opportunity to get your screenshot in a second. We're going to play it in slow motion since we have it on full again, and then I'll go ahead and continue on. What's up, American Princess? Thank you for hopping. He's got a CB. You see the antenna sticking out. He's putting on some gloves. And see.
Now, what kind of shoes has he got on there? Just started looking at his feet real good.
They got to be like some kind of all-terrain shoe boot mixture, you know, like a shoe boot mixture, all-terrain type, like a hiking boot, you know,
There you go.
like if you're going hiking in you know, in hills or mountains or something, you're gonna wear like these hiking boots, but they're more like shoes too.
Right, like almost like one of those working boots or whatever you would see people in
Yeah.
factories wearing or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
The other one looks like he's got just tennis shoes on.
Yeah, it looks like those all-terrain boot shoe mixture type.
But the other fellow looked like he had sneakers on. Not in the khakis, the one in the, I don't know if he's got blue jeans or black pants on. Very strange.
It's definitely a unique SUV. I'll say that because you. What's up, Yoli?
Well-
You have to find the tail lights are unique.
Hi, Yoli.
Hi, Jinx. I love your accent.
Oh, thank you. You can borrow it anytime.
I would love to.
Call it Thicker Billy.
He's just looking to see if traffic's coming. I don't think he was looking as a shady look. Just looking to see if traffic's coming. Now they're kind of walking away. Yeah, he is wearing tennis shoes.
Yeah, he has sneakers on. The other one's got like work boots, kind of, you know, hiking, whatever you want to call them. All terrain, getting it done kind of boots.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one's got sneakers on.
All right, let's see here. So there's just a couple minutes left on this one, and then we'll get into some more stuff here. Thank you, Yoli, for hopping up. Here we go. Aw, I haven't seen this before. So it says August 21st, 2022, Brian C. Koberger traffic stop. Latah County Sheriff enters Koberger's number into the system, not stalking but grocery shopping. Sunday, first day of fall semester, next day would start doctorate program at WSU. Enters the number in the system. And that's drone footage from a local channel right after the crime took place. If you guys want to see that, we can too.
Number 5, the people here in North Idaho. Now, once you get moved here, you get those plates switched over and you start fitting in, people can be extremely nice. But until that happens, if they know that you're moving from out of state, especially if you're from California, they'll let you know how much they don't want you here.
And that was the beautiful thing about my trip is when I got my rental vehicle, it had Washington plates. And I was like, could it not be any more perfect? It was great. So when I was in town, I was sporting local gear and the people were beautiful. I just have to say the people were beautiful. Any of the people that I talked to, it was great conversations. They were very, very polite, reserved, and scared. But they were definitely beautiful souls out there. And I appreciate their hospitality all the way down to the hotel. Just beautiful people out there.
Idahoans are very friendly people, but they're very defensive about our state growing too quickly or getting too big. They do not want to see it become California. And so that's kind of their way of letting people know this is not a place that we want you to move to. A lot of people are doing it. I myself am a transplant from California 30 years ago when my parents brought me here. So a lot of the population is from out of state, but you need to know some people can get a little bit aggressive. So you want to get those plates changed over as quickly as possible.
Talks about getting the plates changed over as quickly as possible. That's funny. But yeah, it was true. I was like, because I already had a plan. Like when I was going there, I was going to get local gear right when I got there and dress with the local gear. And also, it was just awesome that the plate ended up being Washington. So,
Right? You were like incognito a bit, huh?
yeah, exactly. And then when I talked to anybody, I was honest. I told them that where I was from and everything and what I was doing.
Right.
But they were all polite. They were all very polite. Nobody wanted to say shit on camera.
Well,
Right.
no. I don't think they would, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about those small communities, there's everybody knows everybody. So as soon as your face is on something, all of a sudden it's like, boom. Or even your voice, because people recognize your voice too.
Yeah.
They're scared. They're scared. There's some that are just crazy gung ho, 100% guilty, and then a lot of them are just scared. That they just want the right person caught. They just want to be safe. That's all they want.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to be safe. And until they can feel like the person is totally off the street, then. So shout out to them for their comfort and hospitality. I appreciate it.
Well,
all right. So let me see here. Let me see what else we got here, and then we'll go into some of this university stuff. Let me see here. Oh, okay. Yeah, Harsh actually talked about it. The shout out Harsh again, Harsh Reality. He talked about the Dylan Mortensen info being fakes. We're going to go ahead and check that out real quick. Shout out Harsh. Appreciate all the hard work and efforts in the path for truth and justice. And this is why I say, I know some people may not understand, but there's a reason why we only entertain certain things when it comes to, even friends. Because a lot of this shit, it can skew a conversation either direction, and none of us truly know if he's 100% guilty or innocent. So to skew it in either direction, whether too positive or too negative, is never the right way to approach the truth, because we just truly don't know, and we have to let, like it says, innocent until proven guilty, until the court of law, until the court of law. I would love to know, because then we can start talking more about some of these other cases. But there's so much shady shit that goes on in this case. There's so much to talk about, especially this deal that went down with the University of Idaho and the Phx deal, non-disclosure, and all the deals that got shot down as soon as the other universities got into the paperwork and saw how much of a hot potato it was. That's why there was a non-disclosure agreement for this one with the University of Idaho, because it was like, you know what? The worst thing that can happen is we're going to lose enrollment anyway. We might as well roll the dice with a shady-ass university scam and see if it can at least, because any positive is a positive, right? So even if it was 10 more students than the year before, to them, it's still a win. Exactly. And we'll be getting into more of that tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. We're going to watch this harsh reality video here real quick, and then we're going to get into some more of that.
Everyone, I hope you're all well on this fantastic midweek hump. Forgot that this morning. Couldn't even remember it was a midweek hump. Anyway, thumbs up, apparently. Anyway, you're looking amazing, by the way. And this is just a shorter one because something had happened. You know, some people was reaching out to me and they talk about different content creators. And I'm not going to mention them over here. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. So I'm not going to mention who it was. But someone did a video very recently talking about someone that they had spoken to, got hold of, referencing a parent of a friend of Dylan Mortensen. And it was supposedly showing these text messages and all sorts. And, you know, it's one of them where people on the internet, people on YouTube, they always strive to be the exclusive person, the person who digs and gets information, and they go after people and they speak to them and they get something that they can put on the internet, and you know, people jump on it and they're our hero. Look at what they've managed to find out. And we see that a lot. And, you know, some people get bitten with that. Some content creators get bitten. I got bitten in the early days. I got bitten by it. I learned the hard way. But then you've got people who bite the people that they speak to. And this person who I'm talking about had said that they'd spoken to this person, so on and so forth. But this person, because I'm trying to say it without saying too much, because I don't want to give specific people their name. You know, I don't want to use their name. I don't want to promote them because I don't like some of the things they do. And despite the fact that I think they could actually be quite good in some things they do is just despicable, and they lost me a long while ago. Anyway, I'll digress. Point being, this person, their name was shown. So people started to reach out to this person because, well, you would, wouldn't you? Well, some people would. And this person has reached back. And actually, they've turned around and said, what I said to this person is not how that was put on the video. That is not the context of that conversation. What I said to that person isn't it. And I have asked them to remove that. I've asked them to remove that immediately because that is not the thing. So I guess what I'm saying is content creators can sometimes manufacture things from information that they're given. And like I say, some people do it completely by accident. And I have been there. I've been there when I have spoken about something out of place. And like I say, I've learned from it. But be careful who you listen to and how much faith you put into certain outlets. We talk about and we criticize the
What's
likes
up,
of
everybody?
Nation. We do. We talk about them. We criticize them. We criticize how they push certain things, how they'll manipulate an interview or push an interview out, and they'll cut it and edit it to make it look a specific way. We saw how Daniel over at the Drunk Turkey show, when he did his, his interview, and how that was manipulated. I'm sure that Daniel didn't go on there for that to look the way that looked, but it looked like he'd done a hatchet job on the true crime niche.
Exactly, innocent until I know, like, we've had somebody that's been coming in chat saying they want to say something, they want to hop up, they got a whole bunch of stuff that they got to talk about. I say send me an email, and I have yet to get an email. You know what I'm saying? I got a birthday coming up, but it wasn't yesterday. It wasn't yesterday.
I just want to say, spindle that fantastic tale. Sorry, I had to quote Doug Carter for a second. I couldn't help myself.
It's true. It's about the clicks and views, innocent. That's why, when people sometimes want to get upset because somebody in chat wants to make a spectacle and try and whether it's too positive or too negative or what, we've had them come up. There's been times where, I've had to, and it's like, no, there's no reason for it. Listen, the shows are already long enough, my morning shows, my night shows, you're talking 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. The last thing that I am ever going to do over here is waste any of your guys' time on anything but nothing but looking for the truth and justice and factual information. That doesn't include BK's ex-aunt. It doesn't include DM's supposed friend. It doesn't include somebody that was saying that they saw people outside of the property during the morning when the crime took place. All of them that have come through over time. Yeah, Nicola, it was quietness. I've been waiting this whole time before the show. I'm sitting here going, where's these emails? Where's these emails? I was waiting. The last day and a half, 2.5 days, 3.5 days. Where's these emails? There's a reason. They come in here to try and distract. They come in here and try and distract chat even. Because they know they can't distract us up here. So they try and distract you in chat by doing shit like that too. So then all of a sudden you're focusing on that and you're like, wait a minute. And all of a sudden you glanced for 5 minutes and all of a sudden there's a couple things you might have missed, That's what they do. That's what they're sent for. Yeah, I appreciate you, Innocent Until, for real. Just like with all, just like with these threats that Harsh is talking about and he brought up in his live on Friday. It ain't no damn joke. Like, people don't like it when, especially with this case, people don't like it when you're questioning tactics of an investigation. People don't like it when you're questioning other things than the narrative that's what's been put out there. People don't like that. I don't know why, because it should be about innocent until proven guilty, justice and truth. It should be. And I guarantee you, if it was any one of them in that position, they wouldn't be fucking having the YouTube shows that they have. They'd be speaking a different tune. Please, somebody talk about how I didn't do this crime, right? You know damn well. You know damn well.
Well, I hate to cut this short, y'all. I got to get up and go to Turkey
Aw,
Day with
thank you.
folks. So
Yeah, totally understandable. Thank you so much for hanging out, Jinx. It's been a long time.
I know.
Definitely hop up when you are available again. I love having you on, and we missed you so much.
I know,
Thank
I
you.
miss you too. I will be
Again,
back.
Yeah,
It was
thank
so
you.
good
love
to
your
talk
accent again.
to you.
I want to borrow
Y'all
it.
have
She's
a
a
happy
sweetheart.
Turkey Day, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
All right. Bye, Jinx.
And shout out to Jinx too, because when I went up to Delphi and did my on location Delphi stuff, she went along with me and was able to kind of help me out and be a guide as we're navigating all the different spots. And then shout out Randy as well for joining and kind of explained more in depth when we walked the trail of that the girls took to the Monon High Bridge. So shout out to both of them. Thank you so much for your support of the show and the peace, positivity, and progress path. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to finish this up, and then we're going to start talking a little bit of Sigma Chi, and then we're going to go into some of this University of Idaho, University of Phoenix stuff.
So it's fair when the people within the true crime niche themselves do something wrong that they are called out on it. And there are some other channels who are skirting or skating around on very, very thin ice. And maybe some people will think that one of them is me. But I'll tell you now, I wouldn't push anything out or manipulate someone who was close to this case and manipulate what they've said in order to attract more views, and I just wouldn't do it. You know, I've spoken to the likes of Xana Canodal's mum, Cara. You know, I've spoken to her. I haven't asked her to come on this channel. I haven't asked her to come and do an interview. I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in looking at everything that's out there, what is put out there officially, what is put out there by legacy media and media that we have on here and other channels, and to discuss it to get people to have more of an open mind and just not take everything at face value. Because we do. Sometimes we get so caught up in someone saying something that seems to give us validation for our thoughts that we lose track of what is really right and wrong. And I try to keep everyone balanced. And it's a fight. And some people won't understand that. But some people won't get it. And some people will think I'm just talking out of my ass. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, this person and this situation that is very, very recent, and these text messages in there, that was pushed in a very different context than that person wanted that to be pushed out.
Exactly. That's why we don't entertain it. Thank you so much, Dope Soul. I appreciate your support, and thanks for coming to hang out in the show. Appreciate it. That's why. I know there's a lot of oohs and ahs. I know, and you can send Miley. You can send it to any of these locations right here. I know there's a lot of oohs and ahs. I understand. Even the positive, you know. Even though I talk about a lot of the stuff that doesn't make sense when it does come to the case, I truly don't know if BK is guilty or not. And so I don't allow the negative BS, and I can't, just to be fair, I can't allow the completely positive either, because it could be either one. And so, no, we got other time. We have other things to do with the time. My show's already long enough, and it's worth just getting through those things. Now, to say that I wouldn't have a family member, I've always told you before, I'm completely open to it if any of them would like to. But those are the only ones I'm really interested in sitting down and talking, you know. Other than that, we'll just let the facts of the case and trial take place to determine what kind of person he is outside of the family. So that's all. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to speak to any of them, for real. If anybody's seen any of my episodes where I'm just sitting down having conversations or interviews, it's pretty much what it would be like. We talk about what you'd like to talk about. Let me know where not to go and just a couple things, and we'll go from there. It's all fluid on the fly. That's the best. All right. So there is something about the Sigma Chi that came out a few days ago. And I can't wait to get going into this body cam deep dive coming up. We are going to have an episode. Maybe we'll do that tonight. I don't know. We'll see how much time we have. One thing I did want to watch, though, is this strength of DNA evidence from Law and Crime. I thought that would be an interesting video. I was actually going to start the episode with that one, but kind of changed it up before the show started. Let me see here. Sigma Chi. Now, this is a channel called Carper West. And it says captivating true crime.
I think it's Casper West.
Yeah, Casper West. Captivating true crime documentaries.
Yeah,
Hold on 1 second.
I've
Have you seen the
listened to-
channel before? I've never checked it out
Yeah,
before yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've never have yet.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Let's see here. So we'll go ahead and check this out. This is just a short video on it. First time I'm checking out the channel, so shout out Casper West. We'll see what they're talking about. Sigma Chi here. Ooh, look at the effects. I like that.
What is the actual timeline for Ethan and Xana? Is it a secret?
Release the secret.
Another very good question. I don't know that it's necessarily a secret, but there is a gap, at least that we know of. But they were at a fraternity party. Very, very close to here, about a 5-minute walk away from here. And we know that they were spotted at that party the night before the murders, but we don't know that they stayed there.
Now let's show a quick history of fraternities.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're a member of the Evil CJ show, definitely check out the Sigma Chi members only that we had. We had a couple of them. I think this is actually a reenactment that we watched during one of those members only, because it's crazy. They even had their own reenactment from how they formed as a fraternity. They actually branched off from another fraternity because a few members didn't agree with where the fraternity was going, and so they branched off and created their own Sigma Chi. Very interesting history. If you have 6 hours, definitely go, and you're a member, definitely go check out the Sigma Chi episodes. It's very interesting. A lot of hierarchy, titles, and to say that there is no code, you'd be crazy. What's up, Richard? How you doing, bro? To say there's no code is crazy. Definitely go check those out. It was a good reenactment too. See, just a few members. It was 6 or something, 7 members. That was it. Okay, that was the stop that we talked about in the previous video. I'm telling you guys, you got to check out the Sigma Chi episodes. It's crazy. It's crazy. We went over that picture plenty of times in the spring and the winter. I like the intro. Woo, got a little dizzy there. Just playing. Yeah, we saw this. It's crazy.
University of Washington, about 700 miles away. The donor of the Montana campus was a Sigma Chi. The first president and 3 professors were Sigma Chi.
We went through the Wikipedia first.
Probably no state in the Union where Sigma Chi's influence is so strongly felt and expressed.
And he said, you know what, we are gentlemen. Sigma Chi's are gentlemen, and the world expects us to be gentlemen. The world needs gentlemen. The world needs men of such manner, I believe is what he said.
It reads, a pledge was blindfolded and made to do cocaine in order to become initiated. West 2 News tried to speak with Sigma Chi members, but they declined to be interviewed on camera.
And he laid forth those characteristics that we must identify to perpetuate our order. I want to get back to what our founders taught us.
Chapter President Brian Wells emailed me a statement saying, we take such accusations very seriously and will work closely with the university through the student conduct process. Sigma Chi is an organization built on values of leadership and character. We look forward to bringing this matter to a conclusion. The accusations of hazing and drug abuse surfaced just weeks after Sigma Chi was hit with an organizational disciplinary suspension, punishment for unauthorized use of the university's name.
A search of West 2 News archives reveals that back in 2013, Sigma Chi was no longer recognized on this campus by UCF for a nearly 3-year period because of allegations of hazing. And during that time, it faced another investigation of alleged hazing.
A UCF spokesman says student organizations that endanger their members and violate the university's code of conduct must be held accountable. Hazing in any form is unacceptable.
I mean, if you are being forced to do cocaine and other type of drug, then that's definitely not something you should join.
I will say what kept me from one is because of stories such as this. So that's my thought on that.
A National Sigma Chi spokesman tells me, I have no comment right now as this matter has not come across my desk.
That's an interesting statement by the spokesperson from the National Organization for Sigma Chi, because the local chapter president said that he has been talking, quote, frequently.
I recently dug up some information of someone who recently left Sigma Chi, and this is what they said.
It says the ceremony that takes place is in the chapter room and is very ritualistic. They are in these weird cloaks holding staffs, and we go through this whole pseudo-Christian ritual that is some reason dedicated to Greek gods and Freemasonry, Masonic Brotherhood, if that even makes sense, anonymous, of course. Thank you so much, James. Appreciate that. Very artistic, yes. I love it.
My name is Stacy Chapin, and I'm Ethan's mom.
Ethan. What's your middle name? James. What's your last name, Ethan? Chapin. C-H-A-P-I-N. C-H-A-P-I-N? Yeah, I-N. Awesome. What's your birthday, Ethan? 2002.
And a twist in the slaying of those 4 University of Idaho students, we're learning now that just after 3 a.m, police got a call about a disturbance outside a frat house, just a short walk from the crime scene. The murders happened not long after that call. But is there a connection? Jim Murray reports.
Citation here, any rest information on here, but that's all your information. Citation is MIC, and then down here is going to be the paid by or contest by date. So it's an infraction. So there's a set fine for this, okay? It's $487.50, and it has to be paid or contested by December 1st. Okay? So what's your last 4 of social?
Body cam deep dive coming up here soon, everybody. I can't wait.
I am 6 foot, maybe 6'1".
A mysterious 911 call sent cops rushing to the street the night the 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. Police logs from that fateful night show a disturbance in this field outside the Sigma Chi fraternity. The Moscow, Idaho Police Daily Activity Log reveals officers responded to an alcohol offense at 3:01 a.m. It's right around the time police say the murders were committed.
November 12th at 1:59, Ethan sent Haley money. The caption said, "Thank you." Then at 2:10 p.m., he sent her money again with a note that says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But when group members looked at Ethan's Venmo, a new Jack came about. Ethan paid someone named Jack Hadovich at 11:40 p.m., and that is his last Venmo transaction. Not to say there's, anything wrong or suspicious, but that's just a new character that comes for people to talk about on social media. But someone went a step further in our group and did some digging. They posted that someone paid Jack's sister that day and captioned it 3:30 a.m. That time they felt was really unsettling. And Jack K was also the first person to donate to a memorial fund for Ethan in the amount of $6. And people are really reading into that a lot. Why $6? Now Jack is really just a topic of conversation that people want to hear more about.
Wow. And a 3:30 a.m. Venmo captioned 3:30 a.m. Jack's sister. Fascinating.
How close is that frat house to the murder scene? Let me show.
I'm sorry, her voice is like nails on a damn chalkboard to me. I have to hold on. I gotta pause. I need a moment. To. You get the tingles in your neck when you. Gosh. All right, back to the show. Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
Show you. Here's the frat house. You walk across the street and right through these apartment buildings. You then continue up this narrow path, and then you walk up these wooden stairs, and there you are, right at the house.
Is the house. This is the house where the murders happened.
Ticket number 72.
I had no idea. Wow. I mean, short walk, that's like 55 seconds. I mean, they could have gotten home so quickly from that frat house. I had no idea it was that close, Brian. That's remarkable.
Very close.
I'm good this time.
Ethan
I'm
and
good.
Dana went
I'm
together,
good.
as you mentioned, and then our understanding is that Hunter, Ethan's triplet brother, it was also a part of that fraternity house, and Hunter took Maisie, their sister, as his +1. But even Idaho State Police, the communications director for Idaho State Police, has said there are gaps in that timeline that night at Sigma Chi, and they want students to help them fill in those gaps. So they're still wondering, we're still wondering, what happened within that time frame.
Maisie and Hunter, the two triplets with Ethan, were at that party as well and spent the whole evening together with Ethan and Dana until those two left the party, which you would think. Wow. I mean, short walk, that's like 55 seconds. I mean, they could have gotten home so quickly.
I'm listening to that
I
again.
had no idea it was that close, Brian. That's remarkable.
Very close.
Ethan and Dana went together, as you mentioned, and then our understanding is that Hunter, Ethan's triplet brother, it was also a part of that fraternity house, and Hunter took Maisie, their sister, as his +1. But even Idaho State Police, the communications director for Idaho State Police, has said there are gaps in that timeline that night at Sigma Chi, and they want students to help them fill in those gaps. So they're still wondering, we're still wondering, what happened within that time frame.
Maisie and Hunter, the two triplets with Ethan, were at that party as well and spent the whole evening together with Ethan and Dana until those two left the party, which you would think they would know the time they left the party, and yet we're not being told that.
And here's the other thing that really doesn't sit well with me, Brian. Ethan is a member of Sigma Chi. He's a brother at that fraternity. And so for someone to say last time they were seen was 9 p.m., if they were at that party for the next 5 hours, somebody would know that. I mean, someone would know. It's his fraternity. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you would think, and you could go to the fraternity. I assume they have surveillance cameras outside. They could interview the members who were there. It certainly is strange that there is that gap there. And you heard the police again today saying they want people to come forward and tell them if they saw the two during that time. But it's still just weird to think about the fact that the police were so close to this house around the time the murders were happening.
Investigators are also revealing there was a sixth
Thank you so
roommate
much.
who lived in the
Thank
house who wasn't home that night. There was Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison, the two surviving roommates who slept through the attack, and now the sixth young lady whose name we are withholding. Detectives are aware of a sixth person listed on the lease at the residence, but do not believe that individual was present during the incident, a police statement says.
All right, so here's another question, Brian. This is from Nicole. She is asking, does the Sigma Chi house have cameras on the outside or even inside to see who's coming and going? And I believe the Sigma Chi house is right across the street from the house where the murders happened, right?
I haven't seen any cameras, surveillance cameras over there. We've looked a couple of times. It's possible that they're just not easy to spot.
I knew them. Ethan was always in our house. Xana was a good friend before Ethan even came up. But that's all everyone wants to talk about right now because I actually have class here.
Does anyone know where they were during that timeline? Like, there's still this big chunk where.
As of right now, we've told Moscow PD, Idaho State Police, and the FBI all we know. We're kind of leaving it up to them to piece it together. Obviously, we don't have the utilities or resources to do it on our own, so we're just putting full faith in officers and in the detectives doing it. But that's all I do right now.
Are there any cameras around?
Not on the property.
Moscow police say they are investigating the time frame between 9 p.m. the night before the murders on November 12th and 1:45 a.m. when Ethan and Xana were believed to be at the Sigma Chi house.
There is probably no state in the Union where Sigma Chi's influence is so strongly felt and expressed.
I'll just grab your name. Do you mind grabbing that bottle you put back there? Do you mind grabbing that bottle you put back there? The bottle that you put back there that's open, do you mind grabbing that? I appreciate it. What's your current address here? Do you live in Moscow? Are you staying in Moscow? Like to go to school?
I go to school here.
Yeah, what's your address here?
I live in a fraternity.
Okay, what's the address? So everything else checks out, I'm going to warn you. I know you're underage. Shouldn't be having this, right? Okay. Okay. You could get a ticket for this. And it's around a $500 ticket for a minor in possession, okay? So I'm gonna just make sure everything comes out clear and I'll get you guys out of here, okay? Alrighty, Ethan, I'm just gonna make sure you're good to drive, man. I'm just gonna have you pop out. I'm gonna check your eyes real quick and get you guys out of here with the warning, okay?
Another warning. We've seen this before with Kaylee. Whose influence is causing police to not disclose the whereabouts of Ethan and Xana during their timeline gap? Why are people afraid to speak up and disclose this information? What makes it worse is that Ethan's siblings are still a part of the fraternity.
Ethan's brothers are taking care to embrace his memory and look out for his triplet siblings, Hunter and Maisie. On Sunday night, that fraternity named Ethan's sister Maisie, right there in the middle, their official sweetheart of Sigma Chi. You can see Ethan's brother Hunter. He's like right behind her to the left with his arm up and around a friend. He's standing there behind his sister. He's also a Sigma Chi member. Those brothers then serenaded Maisie with their famous song, Sweetheart of Sigma Chi, and they each presented her with a rose. The song and the ceremony are actually world famous, recorded dozens of times, and actually made it into 2 movies as well. Becoming a Sigma Chi sweetheart is a pretty big deal. There is one name for every chapter of the fraternity, and there's an international person who gets that honor as well. The sweetheart can wear the Sigma Chi letters and is considered a beacon of all that the brothers strive to be. And Maisie sounds a lot like her brother Ethan.
And then they give Hunter Ethan's scholarship for Sigma Chi, which raised over $150,000, and it's able to offer $5,000 for a Sigma Chi member. So that's a lot of work there. And then unfortunately after that took place, then you have a member of their fraternity doing some shit like this at a party. So
That's disgusting. I'm sorry.
all right, so we're going to be switching to this episode. Thank you, Miley. I appreciate it. And there's a couple photos Miley wanted us to look at. So if you want to do me a favor, Miley, and let me go ahead and open this a lot bigger here. Let me go to this screen right here. No, let's go to this one. Okay, what did you want us to look at, Miley, when it came to these photos? We got two of them. We got this one, and then we got this one as well. And I think you're wanting us to look at, like, maybe the jacket was still there. Let me see here. So here's this. We can actually zoom in on this one to see that. All right, so that's probably right about there's a good spot. And we'll get to this one and we'll zoom in and we'll get the circle kind of right in the middle there too. I don't know. I think it might look better if we zoom that one out. And let me get rid of this too. All right. Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate it. Totally understand if you have to go. Totally understand. Yeah, I hadn't seen it either, the Richard. Hadn't seen it either. Appreciate all your intelligent comments in the other shows that we frequent at the same time. Appreciate your logical thinking. All right. So let me see here. 3:15. This is 11/13/2022. Now this is part of the body cam that we did go into in the first episode when we were starting our body cam deep dives. I put it on a pause because the last couple shows that we had at the studio before I went on my trip to Moscow and Pullman, I was like, holy shit, they're going to tear down this house real soon. I need to get out there now. And so that's why I put a pause on the body cam deep dive, because I wasn't trying to inflame a hornet's nest, if you know what I'm saying. So I figured we would do it after I got back, and we're going to continue to do it here coming up soon. And this is the body cam that we're going to be going into first. So Miley, thank you for the screenshots. This is the link. This is Columinati. We all love her channel over here. I'll share the link for this video. And this has to do, I think, let me see. Regarding Maddie's black jacket by the fire hydrant. And so what do you guys think in chat? I'm going to switch between these two. There's that one, and there is that one. Thank you, Miley. Appreciate it. What do you guys think in chat? What do you think, Yoli? And if you want me to zoom in, let me know. Or if you want me to zoom out, let me know as well.
Yeah, I just typed in a comment, but I don't see the jacket next to the fire extinguisher. Maybe you can't see it very well, but I don't see it.
Well, here's my question, right?
What time was this? I'm sorry.
This is 3:15:56 on 11/13/2022. Here's my question when it comes to this photo. I don't necessarily think that it is the jacket, but my question is, what is it? It can't be a shadow, because the light coming from the tail light would give, if there was going to be a shadow coming off, of the fire hydrant, it would be going to the left, not towards. So what is that spot? That's my question. What is that spot? I'm gonna pull up some of
You
my
know,
footage.
I don't know.
I'm gonna pull up some of my footage, and I'm gonna see exactly what that spot was when I drove by. Give me 1 second, because I drove by in the daytime. Yeah, here it is. Let me see if I see it on this. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it looks like a shadow to me, but I don't know.
Let's see. Hold on. This is the real footage. Give me a second. I have to navigate all this stuff here. Okay, so I gotta present video. What video is it? Number 50. So let me go to video number 50. All right. So here's the real footage here. Okay. A bush? There's a bush, but no. I mean, look, that bush. Okay, when you look at the bush at that angle, right? Then you look at the bush at this angle. Let me zoom it in. What could that be? Think about it. Like, you look at that.
It looks like a shadow to me, but I don't know.
Those are whoa. Don't play. Don't play. It's a okay, so this bush, so this is like from last week. This bush is right up against that fire hydrant, damn near. Could it be okay, so maybe in this photo, the part that's lit up from the flashlight, because remember, this is when there's a flashlight and you got some light bouncing off of the fire hydrant, then the car back on to the bush. Maybe the darker part is part of the bush that wasn't illuminated from the light source.
It's a shadow.
I don't think it's a shadow. I think maybe it's part of the bush that wasn't illuminated from the light source, because if you
Oh,
look,
yeah. I can see that.
if you look at this
I can see what
angle,
you're saying. Mm-hmm.
if you look at this angle, there's part of that bush that's more bushier than the other part, which is closer to the fire hydrant, which you can see more stems there. So I think that's what we're seeing.
Yeah,
And maybe,
that actually makes sense, because once you said that, I could see it. It looked like a shadow to me, but once you said that it's part of the bush that's not being eliminated, like I could see it. Like, yes, that makes sense.
yeah, and maybe part of the underneath of the fire hydrant, because when you're looking at this picture, you just see the fire hydrant. You don't see underneath the fire hydrant, which I think also contributes to that shadow type look. But really, it's not a shadow. It's actually part of a bush that doesn't have many leaves to get illuminated, and then the bottom of the fire hydrant combination. Yeah, thank you so much for the pictures, though. For real, that was an interesting question, because really it was like a shadow doesn't come in that direction. Shadow doesn't come in that. Yeah, when we're looking at this, yeah, it's the bottom of the fire hydrant mixed with the very part of the bush that's next to the fire hydrant, which you can see it's a lot of. There's not a lot of growth on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, let's see here. So how many of you saw that video where they had somebody from Idaho ED on a talk show that they had for when it came to the purchase and how the purchase was done and all the shady things that went down. How many of you have you seen that the last episode or not? It says a lot.
You're saying that
Right.
it was on a local channel?
Yeah, it was on a PBS. It was on PBS.
No.
Yeah, for Idaho. And they had somebody that was from Idaho ED talking about it, and he was part of the whole process, and he was kind of like letting everybody know, like, yeah, this is like he wasn't holding back. He was being honest, which you can't deny the facts because that's what took place. So he
Ooh,
wasn't.
let's hear it. You have it?
Yeah. Give me 1 second here. Let me. I'm going to read just a couple short articles real quick. So this is one that talks about stupid pop-ups. This one talks about the Idaho Attorney General claims an executive session on University of Phoenix deal violated law. So if you guys were here when we started talking about the whole deal of it that went down a couple of shows ago, there was a lot of local and state politicians that had a lot of questions and weren't getting a lot of answers. And they were even bringing up stuff like this where they were claiming it violated law. When we get, I'm going to read a couple of these small articles. We're going to get back into that video that we were watching before. Then I'm going to take you guys on a little Twitter walk when it comes to donations. It's so sad about the community. They should be taken care of a hell of a lot better. Oh, nice. Here's a video with it. Cool. Okay. That was weird. Wow, it said 10 seconds. It lied. You liar. Come on. Everybody needs a garbage disposal. Incinerator, kitchen better. Free promo. Oh, shoot, it's not sharing it? Oh, hold on. I forgot it doesn't do the screen share good when you got real video up. Let me get rid of that. All right, there we go. Don't give me a commercial because I rewound
We
it.
begin with this. University of Idaho's proposed purchase of the University of Phoenix is one step further from happening. This week, the Idaho Attorney General's office filed a lawsuit saying the State Board of Education violated the open meetings law during the proceedings leading up to the approval of the acquisition. The Attorney General's office says at least one of the State Education Board's executive sessions about the University of Idaho's proposal to buy the University of Phoenix happened behind closed doors when it should have been public. If the meetings were a violation of the code, then whatever happened in them is null and void. We reached out to the Idaho Attorney General's office for comment. They said in part, Attorney General Raul Labrador will do whatever is legally necessary to ensure that ISBE and the University of Idaho comply with Idaho's commitment to transparency. If a violation occurred, our office will work with ISBE to ensure any breach is cured. Now, the Attorney General's office said the lawsuit hasn't been served yet, and they said it won't be if the state board chooses to hold the meetings in question again, but in public. The State Board of Education and University of Idaho both declined to comment.
Of course they did. You know why? Because there was a non-disclosure agreement. The people didn't even know until 48 hours before they needed an answer. They were promised all of these riches and this potential. When you hear this interview, you'll hear the shady shit of how it went down, but then you'll hear after that about all the riches that were promised. Of course. Why do you think people buy into pyramid schemes? Hello? Because it sounds so damn good. And when you look at the University of Phoenix, it's a fucking scheme. They take your money, they lie to you about who they're accredited with and who they're affiliated with. They take your money. Your school ain't shit compared to somewhere else, and you're stuck with debt and nothing to show for it. So then you have to start all over. And this is coming from an online university which is depending on their enrollment from single mothers that can't show up to school and a lot of single parents, guys too, that are unable to take time out to do it, so they have to do it on, you know what I mean? They're manipulating the people that do not have the opportunity already to get the class experience. And that's who they're, the desperate people is who they're fucking manipulating. And then you wonder why all of these other colleges that were in line to make this huge purchase all the way up to $1 billion, from 500 million to $1 billion. They had deals from different universities to purchase them, and every single one of them backed out at the last minute or failed. There's a reason why the University of Idaho wanted a non-disclosure agreement. Didn't want to fucking tell people until they were up against a wall, backed into a corner, and promised them all these riches. What the hell would you do? Just like I said, when it comes to the PCA, you're having to trust these officials coming up with these stockings that look like they're full of Kit Kats and Hot Wheels. You have to trust them, whether it's the judge signing off on the PCA or the people that had to sign off on this deal. They're having to trust because a whole bunch of shit's being thrown at them. It's being promised, and they need to react now. The same Cliff Notes. It says Boise, Idaho. This is June 23rd, 2023. The article originally appeared in the Idaho Press. The Idaho Attorney General's office has filed a lawsuit alleging the State Board of Education violated the open meetings law, in proceedings leading up to approval of a state university acquiring a for-profit online school. Wait till you guys listen to this video of this interview if you haven't seen it already. In court documents filed Tuesday in Ada County 4th District Court, Attorney General Raul Labrador and Solicitor General Theo Wold argue that at least one of the executive sessions held by the State Education Board regarding the University of Idaho's proposal to purchase the University of Phoenix should have been held publicly. The lawsuit says that if the meetings were held in a violation of code, then subsequent actions by the board regarding the transaction are null and void, just like we heard in that interview there. The State Board of Education and the University of Idaho both declined to comment on the pending litigation. Yes, because there was a non-disclosure agreement. 48 hours. Wait, you'll hear it live on this dude's voice here. The Attorney General's office confirmed that the lawsuit hasn't been served yet, and it won't be if the State Board chooses to hold meetings in question again in public. It's not going to be finalized until earlier next year, so there is time for this to be brought to attention, everybody. A number of people have raised concerns about the legality and transparency of the University of Idaho's purchase of the University of Phoenix. Attorney General Office spokesperson Beth Cahill said in an email statement, "In our review of the Idaho State Board of Education meeting timeline, it does not appear the parties involved in this transaction satisfied the requirements of Idaho's Open Public Meetings Law outlined in Idaho Code Section 74-2061E. Attorney General Labrador will do whatever is legally necessary to ensure that ISBE and the University of Idaho comply with Idaho's commitment to transparency. If a violation occurred, our office will work with the ISBE to ensure any breach is cured. My ass, because I bet the documents get shredded before you get your hands on them. The Education Board held 3 executive decisions on March 22nd, April 25th, and May 15th, according to board meeting materials. The exemption in code cited as legal justification to hold these meetings behind closed doors was to, quote, consider preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the governing body is in competition with governing bodies in other states or nations. The lawsuit argues that the May 15th meeting likely did not discuss negotiations that were preliminary, as 3 days later the board approved the proposal to create a non-for-profit organization in order to acquire the online university. Yes, the Idaho University created a nonprofit organization called New U, which is using taxable and non-taxable bonds, you know who pays for those, to do the purchase of the University of Phoenix online. In effect, the May 18th, 2023 vote was an illegal pro forma meeting to ratify a $500 million agreement whose terms were disclosed and established outside of public view in direct confrontation of Idaho's open meeting law, the lawsuit states. It also argues that it wasn't proven that the University of Idaho was in competition with governing bodies in other states or nations by the time the board held its May 15th meeting on April 24th. The University of Arkansas, we went into that last night. The University of Arkansas Board and Regents rejected a similar proposal to acquire the University of Phoenix. Because of this, the lawsuit argues that the University of Arkansas had already removed itself from competition by the time the last executive session was held. We went into that last night again. During a hearing with the Joint Finance and Appropriations Committee on June 16th, several committee members questioned the secrecy of negotiations ahead of the May 18th decision, the Idaho Press previously reported. Those involved in negotiations had been under strict non-disclosure agreements, and most of the public didn't know of the proposed acquisition until the day before the state voted to allow it to move forward. Shady. U of I President C. Scott Green faced questions from JFAC co-chair Representative Wendy Horman, Republican Idaho Falls, over who the other interested party was that necessitated the executive sessions. Green responded that they were told 2 other entities were interested, but he doesn't know who they were. Of course, plausible deniability. State Board of Education Executive Director Matt Freeman also said they were told 2 other states were in competition for the purchase, and that the board's deputy attorney, Great Counsel, has said it was an appropriate exemption from the open meetings law. Of course. Green also said negotiations were working up until the morning of the vote in response to questions about whether negotiations were preliminary. Of course. We did not have a deal or even an outline to where we felt comfortable bringing it to the state board until that morning, Green said. These were preliminary. They were just keeping the board up to date, trying to answer any questions that they had. And I say, bullshit. If you're purchasing $550 million, you don't do a business transaction like that. You are playing with damn fire if you're making a business transaction like that. And the fact that I thought you were already desperate when you made this deal, you already sound even more desperate than I thought before, because you're going to sit there and say, we did not have a deal or even an outline to where we felt comfortable bringing it to the state board until that meeting, that these were preliminary. They were just keeping the board up to date, trying to answer any questions they had. I'm sorry. You don't even buy a fucking car that quick. You don't even buy a car that damn quick. I'm going to leave it on there while I get to chat. I'm sorry, when I read these documents and these articles, I can't see chat, and I have to take a pause from time to time. So let me get into chat here real quick while I leave it on Mr. Green there, the guy that got hired because they liked his sales pitch. What do you think so far, Yoli? You're on mute. I don't know.
I think, fine. I think it's just greed. I mean,
they run that damn town.
I've seen it before, and it's just greed and power, and I put it in that order because, you know, it is greed and power. I mean,
at its finest. At its finest, and the thing is they're so they've perfected it.
Yeah, and like I was involved in a case with it regarding a university, and it was an awful case, and people turned a blind the people who were in charge of this particular program turned a blind eye to the director of the program, and you know. Later on, there was another scandal with regard to that university. And at that point, the president of the university was canned because it was a public university and all they care about is money. Yeah. It's just greed.
It's a business.
It's greed. It's greed. It's more than a bit. I mean, it's greed. And then because of that money, they get power hungry. Yeah, they get power hungry.
He took a pay cut to go there. It's about power. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
I mean, yes. So that's what I think.
When you take a pay cut, damn straight, it's about power and ego.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just shady all over. And Definitely. It makes me sad because, you know, if anybody has children and they send them to college and, you know, it's like, you know, I'm just wanting to see what's going to happen with the civil lawsuit because I know that some families filed their notice of intent to sue or they filed a government claim to preserve their right to sue, you know, everybody, the university, the Moscow, Idaho PD, and I don't know who else, but I'm just interested to see what's going to happen with that because the university has a special relationship, and that's a legal term, special relationship with their students. Whether that house was off campus or on campus, I don't know the law about that, but the fact that the university took possession of it while it was in the midst of a crime scene leads me to believe that they have something going on and they had some control over the area there.
Mm-hmm. That's why the frats didn't say nothing.
Yeah, I know.
That's why you don't. That's why LE doesn't even know how many damn students were out front of the property when they showed up, or when first responders showed up before they even showed up. They don't know. How do you not
kidding me?
know?
I'd have been taking names and numbers, and I mean, I'd be taking all kinds of. I mean, no way.
They were telling the students go home. Mr. Green was, you know, he even had you know, movie hair guy, the dean of students. He was even saying, "Go home, students. Go be with your family." It's like, what? Hell fucking no. You need to sit here. We need to figure this out first. We have a week until we have Thanksgiving. We can figure it out in a week. This isn't Chicago. This is fucking Moscow. You're talking 12,000 students, man.
Let me tell you, it's let me tell you, I've had, and I don't really want to talk about it, but
Thank you,
I've
Innocent.
had a case involving a University of California, and let me tell you, the things that happened in that case are unbelievable. You would never, ever think that they could happen, and it was like a movie. And when I see this University of Idaho thing, and I see CJ going down, I see it, and it's sad.
It's disturbing.
It's disturbing, and it involves vulnerable college students. Like I said yesterday, there was a day and age where college students in between 18 and 22, they went to class, right? They went to class, they studied, it was showing up, they partied, they did whatever, but they went. And then, all of a sudden these online schools came about,
Yeah,
like
all
the
over like
University of Phoenix.
wildfire. You couldn't, if you were up
Yeah.
late night, you couldn't go without watching 50 of them overnight.
Right. And that's good for adults who have
All
already
over.
had, yeah. I mean, adults who have
it-
already had an experience, who have time constraints, who have responsibilities. That's good.
In 2010, their enrollment was
But when
over
you have,
500,000.
students, in between 18, yeah, it's
Oh, there's a
just,
delay, isn't there?
it's shitty.
Yeah.
There is. I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
can't fix this. I tried to fix it. I hope it's not too bad.
No, it is. But you
Yeah,
go from in 2000.
Yeah, I just know it. And I know it because of experience. And this is in a big city, not
No.
a big county, not, a small town, which is small town is just, it's crazy. I wouldn't be out here but for this case, truthfully.
All right, so it continues to say the lawsuit is asking the court to declare that the May 15th meeting violated the open meeting law and that the May 18th vote is null and void. Green said that the university has thoroughly evaluated the transaction and expressed confidence in its legality and its potential for benefiting UI, right? The Christmas stocking. I need one that has a big E on it for Evil CJ, just a big one that I can just stuff with a bunch of crumpled paper. Old notes, you know what I mean? Yeah, when I organize my notes, my old notes, I can fill it up as time goes on. And then maybe at Christmas it'll be full. So, you guys can see it fill up from the old notes. That'd be cool. Crumpled up pieces of paper. I wouldn't be standing before you today if we did not have the full confidence of the team of experts who performed this detailed due diligence and helped to structure this transaction. Green told JFAC members, of course, because when a deal like that for $550 million dollars happens overnight, quicker than you buy a vehicle, I would hope that there was a team of experts who performed the detailed due diligence. Because, man, I can imagine. Can you imagine trying to get all that done overnight? Like, honestly. I don't know how they did it. They must have had just coffee brewing all over the fucking place, people running all over, screaming, yelling, throwing paper. I mean, it had to be a madhouse. Cahill wrote of the lawsuit, an open and honest government is fundamental to a free society. The Idaho legislature formalized our state's commitment to open government by enacting the Idaho Open Meeting Law in 1974. The open meeting law confides that the public's business should be done publicly and requires the Idaho Attorney General to vindicate the people's paramount interest in transparency, especially when it comes from non-taxable and taxable bonds. Hello, people. The transaction is not yet complete. It will need to be approved by both sides' accreditors. So in the beginning of next year is when this is supposedly going to be on the table to be finalized, everybody. So if you don't agree with it, we need to start making it be known out there because there is time. I'm thinking 3 months. 3 months. Now there is a slight delay on here, the Richard, just a tad, but it's all good. It's a normal thing. Technology. Why would they rush to do it overnight? Really, you know what I'm saying? $550 million. You're not going to spend $2,000 on a used damn car that's sitting on somebody's corner lot with a for sale sign in the window that's written in marker. You know what I mean?
You'd have a mechanic look at the car. I mean, like you'd have an expert look at the car. If I was going to buy an old car, I mean, that's what they mean by having an expert go in there and check it out. You know? How can they do that?
It's dangerous.
How can they do that in such a short period of time? I mean, I don't know, but maybe they can. I don't know.
They're not even playing, and here's the shitty part, they're not even playing with their own money because they're using a nonprofit organization called New You that is being used to sell bonds, non-taxable and taxable, to then purchase the University of Phoenix. And if that doesn't work, then the University of Idaho is going to contribute $10 million a year towards that purchase. Give me a damn break. The deal is basically we're going to use other people's freaking money to roll the dice, and if it don't work out, the only thing we're going to be out is $10 million a year. If you don't tell me the purchase of University of Phoenix Online #1 is a freaking scam, then what about the university only having to pony up $10 million freaking dollars a year, which is chump change when it comes to if this deal don't work and fall through or don't succeed like it's supposed to? Of course, you're going to promise a whole bunch of glitter and gold. Hell, you get the little flyers in the mail that have a little key attached to it, and guess what? You go show up for a 2-hour seminar on timeshares, and then you get to put the key in the car and see if it turns on. Bullshit, man. You're telling me you're going to put over $500 million worth of the community's money on a gamble like you're putting in a key from a damn seminar about timeshares? When that community is not even flourishing like it should be already, you know what that's gonna do? All because you're rolling the dice to make sure that your enrollment doesn't drop, because upstairs you got boards of directors saying, we don't care if a crime took place. We don't care if the economy's shit. We don't care. What we care about and why we're sitting at this boardroom table is because it's our job to demand 4 to 8% every single quarter. And if it doesn't happen, it's our ass. So we make sure it's your ass before it's our ass. That's the kind of fucking conversations that are taking place. It's a gamble, and they're painting it off like it's this beautiful. Whoa, you'll hear it in this video in a second. This guy's like, he sits there and tells you all the shady shit about what took place, and then he tells you all the riches that over $180 million can come back. You could have a key that turns this SUV.
Yeah, dollar signs. Dollar signs.
Bullshit.
Dollar signs. This is sad.
Yeah, we've already did that in the spring, Richard. We've already did that in the spring. That's how it goes down in the boardroom, yo. That's the shit that you think President Green has power in that community. The people in the boardroom, that's what they're telling President Green. It's our ass if you don't do what we're telling you to do. So we're making sure it's your fucking ass before it's our fucking ass. Because we love going on our yachts. We love having our fancy schmoozy parties. We love being connected and being able to donate and all this other shit to these local politicians and all this other shit. We like having those little cha-ching parties where we can stick our pinkies up when we drink our fucking drinks. You know what I mean? All right, we're going to get to that video here. And it's going to be crazy. You're going to hear how it went down. It's just going to be like, man, this is so damn shady. And they just put it all out on people, just like they put it all out on people with the PCA. All right, this is Idaho Reports. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate you so much. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. The brute cologne, Lynn. Thank you for reminding me, right? The brute cologne, as soon as you walk into the office, just like, woo, bro.
And the hairspray.
We know.
For the
Yeah.
hair.
Oh, for sure. And then you got the fake tears, because we're going to be going into some of the press conferences here in a couple days. When we get into the press conferences part, a couple of them, you know, the tears, but you can adjust your glasses, but you don't ever have to wipe away a tear. I don't understand that.
It was a big week for education with 18 school bonds and levies on the ballot across 16 school districts around the state. We'll get to those results in a bit, but first on Wednesday, news broke that the University of Idaho has been in talks for months to acquire the University of Phoenix for $550 million. On Thursday, just one day after that news became public, the State Board of Education unanimously approved a request from UI to form a nonprofit that would handle that acquisition. Here to discuss is Kevin Richert of Idaho Education News. Kevin, it's been quite a week.
It really has been. And this news about U of I and University of Phoenix came from out of nowhere. And we're just now starting to come to grips with the enormity of this transaction. This is a $550 million purchase. It involves $685 million of bonding to cover everything.
Again, $550 million ain't nothing, because they were literally asking 500 to $1 billion, and they were getting close to $1 billion offers. And this is after the University of Idaho saw all these other institutions rejecting the deals, and they basically gave them a low ball offer. There was a used car on the lot for $2,000, and they went up to the person that was selling the car and said, "You know what? I'll give you $2,100. That's exactly what took place. Not only the university took advantage of the situation and lowballed them, if you think about it, but also is using the community's fucking money to gamble and roll the damn dice. It's not cool. Not cool. Sorry we're talking about this. But we still got time. People should know. Please spread this shit out there.
That is about as much as we're going to spend as a state on the four-year colleges and universities in 2023, 24. It is a staggering amount of money. And it is a process that has unfolded in rapid fire over the past 48 hours.
You touched on this briefly, but this money isn't coming from just cash on hand that the university has. This is from bonds that the nonprofit will acquire.
Right. The separate entity, the nonprofit New U, would be doing the bonding to acquire the project, to acquire University of Phoenix. And the University of Idaho has been careful to say that there's no taxpayer money involved in the bonding. There is some financial risk, though, for the university.
Let's talk a little bit about that financial risk. What does it look like, and how do we get there? What's the path?
Yeah, they're claiming that it's not going to be paid from taxpayer money, which is a bunch of bullshit when you look into it. It's a bunch of verbiage and roundabouts. Why do you think the new U came about? Because the only way the deal was going to get approved if it was a nonprofit organization that was going to purchase the University Online Phoenix. So they had to create a nonprofit organization, but the nonprofit organization is going to be created from taxable and non-taxable bonds, which you know who is going to be buying. It's a fucking scam. And the way that they're wording it and the way that they're doing it is they can sit there and say that the taxpayers ain't paying for it, but you can't tell me that they're not. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Path to see that risk.
The path would come if New U was unable to make its payments to cover the purchase of University of Phoenix. At that point, the university would step in to the tune of up to $10 million per year to backstop those payments. Now, that is a fail-safe, and it's not immediately clear to me exactly where within the university's budget that's going to come if that were to come to pass.
There are a lot of things that aren't clear.
There's a
for
lot
now,
we're still trying to
certainly.
sort out here.
Right,
definitely.
one of the questions that I had was, New U, this nonprofit that was the university is forming to handle, they're bonding with state authority.
Correct.
How can it do that and taxpayers not be on the hook?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think there's a lot of governance questions.
And he don't even know. Shout out to this reporter from PBS. Real fucking questions.
Forming to handle.
I'm glad she's able to ask them because I'm surprised they haven't been taken over.
They're bonding with state authority.
Correct.
How can it do that and taxpayers not be on the hook?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think there's a lot of governance questions. There's a lot of process questions that we're trying to sort out.
Right.
And really, what we had on Thursday, the state board met for 90 minutes before voting unanimously to...
Met for 90 minutes. 90 minutes. When it comes to... So how are the taxpayers not paying? Well, that's a lot of good questions. We're still trying to figure that out. I mean, really, we only met for 90 minutes, and they really we only knew about it 48 hours before the deal needed to be approved. 48 hours? Yeah, 48 hours.
That was the university is forming to handle. They're bonding with state authority.
Correct.
How can it do that and taxpayers not be on the hook?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think there's a lot of governance questions. There's a lot of process questions that we're trying to sort out. And really, what we had on Thursday, the state board met for 90 minutes before voting unanimously to give the U of I the go-ahead to proceed on this purchase. There were a lot of nitty-gritty questions that were being asked in that meeting, to be fair. But a lot of it was focused on the money flow. How is the University of Idaho going to make money off?
No, you guys gotta understand, like, this guy drops some freaking bombs on this freaking video. He already told you when she answered about the funding, he was like, he can't lie. He dropped some freaking bombs in this. Like, he can't lie, and he's not lying. And you can tell every single time that he gets asked a question or he's done answering a question, look at where he looks. Watch.
One of the questions that I had was,
Watch his eyes.
This nonprofit. That
Oh,
was,
let me hit pause real quick. Thank you so much, Kib Kitty. Mark and Betty membership. Definitely check out the Sigma Chi stuff. New members: Dog Fan, Space Junkie, Lynn Pooley, Dog Fan, Murky. Nice. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Watch his eyes. Watch the questions when he gets asked and after he answers. And trust me, this dude don't bullshit. He drops some bombs and he shows you how confused all of this is, how quick it was, how they dropped them on him, and how shady it was.
The university is forming to handle. They're bonding with state authority.
Correct.
How can it do that and taxpayers not be on the hook?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think there's a lot of governance questions. There's a lot of process questions that we're trying to sort out. And really, what we had on Thursday, the state board met for 90 minutes before voting unanimously to give the U of I the go-ahead to proceed on this purchase. There were a lot of nitty-gritty questions that were being asked in that meeting, to be fair. But a lot of it was focused on the money flow. How is the University of Idaho going to make money off of this deal? And we really haven't talked about that yet. How would that backstop, that $10 million fail-safe kick in? That was really the focus of the meeting. these process questions, these governance questions, are still, still questions we need to sort out.
One more question on the governance issue. So the
What
two
a shady
universities will
deal.
operate independently. They'll have separate leadership and presidents. But this separate nonprofit entity, New U, it's still connected to the University of Idaho, to be clear. I mean, its address is the Kibbe Dome in Moscow.
The Kibbe Dome, people. The Kibbe Dome. You want to see a picture of the Kibbe Dome? The address? The fucking Kibbe Dome, people. So if you notice in the on-location footage, I turn right here on some of my paths. I turn right on Perimeter Drive. It's actually the first road that I drove on when I entered Moscow to go to the crime. And as I'm circling this road right here, Perimeter Drive, and I'm circling around, I see this building off over here, and I'm like, that's a freaking dome? So let me see if Google, oh, beautiful. Google guy will give us a front row seat of the Kibbe Dome. This is the frickin' Kibbe Dome, people. This is the address for New U. The fucking Kibbe Dome. Let me give you a different view here.
Oh, shit.
The Kibbe Dome. Let me give you a side view because it's even better when you see it from the side. The Kibbe Dome is the frickin' address. Shady? Just a little bit. Summer says, CJ, this smells like Old Spice all the way, and I think you're correct, Summer. I think it does smell like Old Spice all the way. And they didn't think that this was going to be talked about. Guess what? We've already done a couple shows, and I got a couple more. There's a reason why we're not getting into the body cam deep dive yet. We're finishing this shit first because this shit needs to be talked about. There's just a little amount of time, just a couple months. If this gets enough attention, you don't think this shady ass shit's going to be brought to light before these communities? You know the stronghold that the university has in this community. You know what this could potentially do to the community if this thing goes belly up. They can't say nothing because there's a stronghold. And it's shady. You don't have to live there to notice its shadiness. So if they can't, let's bring it to light. Let's talk about it. Let's get it out in the open. Yo, look at all these other colleges. They didn't have non-disclosure agreements. It's pretty convenient that you did. And then when you listen to how all this went down from this courageous gentleman, because I'm sure he got some smack back from saying these answers damn straight, because he is being honest. He doesn't know much, and he's being honest. Like, yo, we had questions, like, but wait, there's this beautiful bouquet that we're being presented with. You have to understand this, lady. Even though we have all these questions, it's the beautiful bouquet.
Right. And the individual heading the New U board at this point appears to be the counsel for the university. So
the Kibbe Dome,
the connections between New U and U of I are pretty clear.
At Thursday's meeting, one of the board members touched on this, but you know.
Did you see that look too after the connections between the University of Idaho and the New U? I mean, hell, there is a connection. It's at the frickin' Kibbe Dome. It's where the damn football team goes.
So the connections between New U and U of I are pretty clear.
At Thursday's meeting,
that dude knows he's answering some shit where he's gonna get some hell for it. You can tell by the way he looks at this camera.
One of the board members touched on this, but
Thank him
University of
for
Phoenix
being
doesn't
honest.
have the best
Seriously.
reputation nationally and hasn't for some time. Even if UI isn't financially on the hook for these issues, what's the potential hit to UI's reputation here when it acquires this for-profit entity?
I think that's something that the U of I is really going to have to work on. I think that the messaging and the framing of this merger, let's call it a merger for lack of a better word, that's going to be something that the U of I is going to have to deal with. Now, Scott Green, the president of the U of I, talked about the reputational issues on Thursday, and he acknowledged that University of Phoenix has had problems in the past. He insists that this new team that really wants to go the nonprofit route, really wants to get back to...
Yeah, they really want to go the nonprofit route because they don't want to be on the fucking hook. They want to make it look beautiful. It's almost like if you're into the Bible and you read about the end times, about the guy that's all flashy and he's making the people think that he's some guy that's saving everybody from all the chaos, when really deep down, the motherfucker is a snake. That's the kind of shit right here. It's a non-profit. It's a non-profit. We're not going to make anything. Bullshit. You want to see that they're not going to make anything? What does non-profit mean? Tax exemptions, and they're non-profit. But when you hear this guy, he's going to tell you how much people are going to profit from it and who's going to profit from it first. Guess who's going to profit from it first? Oh, yeah. The same place that the Kibbe Dome is located. $10 million fucking dollars.
Scott Green, the president of the U of I, talked about the reputational issues on Thursday, and he acknowledged that University of Phoenix has had problems in the past. He insists that this new team that really wants to go the nonprofit route, really wants to get back to nonprofit education, student-centric service, he thinks that they're wanting to turn the page as much as the U of I wants to partner with an online vendor. So we'll see. But, if you watch social media over the past couple of days, everybody has a wisecrack about this merger and about the University of Phoenix. And fair or unfair, that's something the U of I is going to have to combat over the next few months or years.
I think the least negative reaction I saw was, well, that's weird. Most of the reaction that I have seen, and I went to the university. I still have, so many friends and connections there, and there was a lot of frustration with how this happened secretly. The University of Phoenix compelled University of Idaho to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Right.
So these talks have been going on for months, even though we have.
Yeah, they're the ones that initiated the non-disclosure agreement, but then when they're asked about the non-disclosure agreement, they say it's because 2 other institutions were trying to purchase it as well. My fucking ass. It's one after another of being asked a question and deflecting it to the other institution so you can have plausible deniability, you fucking snake.
Have only known about it for 48 hours.
Right. We had the 3 executive sessions involving the State Board of Education dating back to March while the university was operating under the NDA. That was a question that came up in the State Board meeting on Thursday. President Green said, look, in order to have a conversation with the University of Phoenix, we had to go the NDA route. But I think that is leaving...
That's a bunch of bullshit. You had to go non-disclosure because you wanted to keep everything a secret until the last minute because you wanted to make sure that this passed no matter what, because you wanted to roll the fucking dice. Everybody that had to vote on it was clueless. They knew about it 48 hours before they needed a decision, and they got together for 90 freaking minutes the day that they needed a decision. They had to try and set it up the day before. They had 2 days. It took the day to set it up and then the day that they had to come up with a decision. Isn't that ridiculous? Who runs New U? The address is the Kibbe Dome. It's the University of Idaho, but it's a fancy way of saying the community because it's a nonprofit organization. Oh, just a bunch of shit. Hey, CJ, the young lady from my video goes to Phoenix. She showed me an email they sent her. I would, Innocent, if you or her would love to be on sometime, I would love to talk about it. Seriously. For real. Just DM me on any of these. And any time is the time because this is bullshit. And this needs to be out there. Listen to this question. It's just, I'm going to share the link to this video again. It's just bomb after bomb. And again, watch him look at the fucking cameras.
That was a question that came up in the state board meeting on Thursday. President Green said, look, in order to have a conversation with the University of Phoenix, we had to go the NDA route. But I think that is leaving a lot of people with questions, a lot of people with skepticism. One of those people, by the way, was Representative John Gannon, Democrat from Boise. He sat in on the meeting. He was sitting next to me during the state board meeting on Thursday. He didn't comment. There was no public comment, period, during the state board meeting on Thursday. Afterwards, he wrote a letter to the state board expressing his concerns about this process, the secrecy, the kind of take it or leave it. We've got to do this week in order to get an application into the University of Phoenix's accreditors by Friday, today, 2 days out from when this became public. His concern is
sarcasm.
It's kind of got a take it or leave it aspect to it. And this isn't the right way to be going about this.
And he isn't the only lawmaker who shared those concerns. I watched the board meeting online. The YouTube channel still had the chat function going, and I saw Representative Mike Kingsley in there, a Republican from Lewiston, who was upset about the same thing, the lack of transparency and the lack of input from lawmakers.
All of them.
The first time that you're seeing questions about transparency being raised on the same project by the Idaho Statesman's Editorial Board and the Idaho Freedom Foundation. So if nothing else, the University of Idaho is bringing people together.
You have lawmakers coming out saying that the freaking deal was illegal and that they're going to try and find, this is, just wait. The bouquet of flowers is coming.
You know what? As an alum, I appreciate that. And real quick, before we move on, let's talk about the pluses that President Scott Green was advocating for in this meeting. This has the potential to generate a lot of income for the University of Idaho if it goes well.
Right. And it's still not completely clear to me anyway about how this money all flows. But
yeah, it's not all clear. Listen, you got a flyer with a key with a little bit of fucking hot glue sticking to the postcard saying, come on in, just listen to this 2-hour seminar about a timeshare and you might be able to drive away with a Jeep Grand Cherokee. We don't know where this timeshare's at. We don't even know if these are the real pictures. But damn it, we better show up, babe, because we might be able to win a timeshare and we might be able to bring home a Grand Cherokee while you go out there and waste 2 hours of your fucking time. Because they sell you the same shit that they sell you on the coupon magazine as you're leaving the frickin' grocery store. What a great deal. Oh, the deals.
The way the thing is structured is that the first $10 million of revenue goes straight to the U of I that they can use for strategic initiatives. The university is saying, we think there's going to be a lot more that comes through, that their cash flow is much more favorable than that. So 10 million is really just a starting point.
Yeah.
They were talking about upwards of.
Yeah, I thought it was nonprofit.
We think there's going to be a lot more that comes through, that their cash flow is much more favorable than that. So 10 million is really just a starting point. They were talking about upwards of $170 million of revenue for the university by the year 2030. There's a lot of money at stake here. And I think really for the university and for the state board, one of the things that they keep pointing to is we need to come up with an online education system in this state. This is maybe the quickest way to do it because University of Phoenix has that platform already in place. It's been in existence for years.
the state board and University of Idaho were already moving forward with an online platform, Online Idaho, to kind of address some of those concerns, right?
Which the U of I says is still going to be in place. It's still going to be operating as a separate entity, and the U of I's own online classes will continue to operate. So the U of I is really trying to, set up a lot of walls here between its operations and the University of Phoenix's operations.
Well, so many questions that we will be looking for answers for over the coming months.
Just getting started here.
Yeah, just getting started, because there's so many questions already and there's so many more, and we're going to be asking them. I want to see, I need to reach out to this lady from Idaho PBS. I wonder if she would be interested in talking about anything. I know I'm just a small fry, but who knows? I could always reach out to her and see. So many questions. It's ridiculous. All right, another article here real quick. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. If you celebrate it, please travel safely if you're traveling right now. I'll be home for the holidays, so I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to just work around home, take a break, do a sports show, do a true crime show. I don't know. I haven't even decided. The Idaho State Attorney General sued the state board, alleging it violated the state. Yep, we went through that article already. Thank you for that, Thomas. Appreciate that. Yeah, we went through that article here. Definitely, again, if you want to see that video and you didn't get to save the link, here again is the video for, or the link for that video. Definitely save it to your playlist. It's some messed up shit. And thank you again for being here. University of Idaho responds to U.S. Senators' concerns about pending University of Phoenix affiliation. University of Idaho President Scott Green defended the decision to affiliate with the online university in a letter dated September 13th. Here's the video to go along with that. Oh, it's going to be a commercial. Hold on. Oh, this one again. You need a, yeah, you definitely need a sink disposal, garbage disposal there. Free promo. And we'll be getting more into this university stuff the next couple shows. We will have the body cam deep dive coming up either this weekend or early next week, so look for that. And we got to have a game night one of these nights. All right. Let me see here. Oop,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the body cam. That's pretty interesting to me.
I hope you're able to join us when we do it.
Yeah,
We can do it at nighttime if it's better.
Yeah,
You got
nighttime is
something
better. I just have busy work, and so I listen to your show in the mornings. I can't chat,
Thank
but
you
I
for that.
listen. Yeah.
Thank you for
So yeah, the evenings are always better. Fridays and Saturdays are way better.
Okay. Well, maybe
but yeah, I'd like to
Friday we can
participate.
start
I
our
mean, I
first.
like it. I like
maybe
this.
Friday. Maybe Friday night we can go ahead and
Yeah.
start off the body cam deep
Mhm.
dive, and I can just kind of mix it,
Yeah.
university and body cam, back and forth or something. That way we at least cover both for sure. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it, Rob. Maybe we'll
And
do
then
that Friday.
also,
Friday
yeah,
night.
and then a game night too. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
videos, the
Yeah.
where you pick the
Yeah,
ending
we
or
need
you
one.
pick what people do.
Oh, the
That
choose your own adventure. You guys like that the
that one.
best?
Mhm.
You guys like the
What's it
choose your
called?
own adventure game? Their
Yeah,
choose your own adventure. You guys like those the best?
I like it. I remember you said you were going to invite Harsh. That would be pretty funny. But
I would love, yeah, I
wouldn't it
would
be
love
funny?
to. I would love to be able to, like, where Harsh and I we don't even have to do a crime show. We can
Right.
just have a hangout show where where me and him, along with everybody in chat, would be a choose your own adventure. Like me and Harsh would be on panel, and
Yeah.
me and him would be the choose your own adventure answers as it pops up, and then
That would
we
be
can.
so great.
I think it would be sweet. Not even a true crime show, but just a true crime, because it is a true crime. Choose your own adventure, but not a real true crime show. But yeah, if any, I think it'd be great. So if Harsh, if you hear it, man. I mean, I don't want to
Yeah.
promote it on a live or a comment. You know what I'm saying? I'll send
No,
out
I
an
mean, we
email.
don't know
But no, it'd be
if
great.
he would
I'd love to do it.
participate.
I've been wanting to do that
It's that.
for a long time. It would be sweet. Choose your own adventure, true crime with Harsh and CJ. It'd be sweet. All right. So I think this has Scott Green responding in it.
The West for 4 straight years in running. The University of Idaho is the best value in public education on the western half of the country. The United States News and World Report released that ranking annually, and it's actually a very impressive accomplishment, but not one to get any favor from East Coast politicians. If you recall last week, senators from Massachusetts, Illinois, and Connecticut, well, they wrote a shared letter to the University of Idaho. They are against the university's plan to affiliate with the University of Phoenix, an institution they say that hurts the U of I's brand and reputation. And Andrew Bartline has read through responses on both ends. And Andrew, will start at this. Why do senators from the East Coast even care what's going on in Idaho with our colleges?
Well, in that letter, it appears they believe the federal government would have to bail out any University of Phoenix financial or legal trouble that they may or may not get in if they're affiliated with a public school, being the University of Idaho. The senators also say the University of Phoenix has a reputation of taking advantage of veterans, only to rake in federal dollars through the GI Bill. So here's a summary of the complaints that the 3 senators sent to Idaho President Scott Green.
Nice. And this is just a little bit of it because, like, if you were here last night and I started to go through all of the lawsuits, and this was just the beginning, and we're going to get into it more in the next episode. All of the lawsuits that have been brought against the University of Phoenix is ridiculous. There's a reason why they went from over 500,000 enrollees to just over 85,000 up until a few years ago. They took advantage of the single moms, the single dads, the single parents, the couples that were struggling, that just need people themselves. They didn't even have to have children or be married. They could be single and still struggling because all they could get was a job at Mickey D's. But they wanted to get an education, and they thought this shit was real. And instead, this scam took their money. And yeah, there's a lot of questions, because what happens if because remember, the University of Idaho is keeping the University of Phoenix separate, right? So University of Idaho doesn't have to pay for damages that the University of Phoenix has to. So what happens if the University of Phoenix has to pay damages, which they can't pay, and so they end up going bankrupt, and then they fizzle out, and then the deal doesn't work out? How much again does the University of Idaho only have to pay? $10 million a year. This poor community.
They want to know how the University of Idaho plans to fix failing Phoenix programs, specifically how 7,000 undergraduates in this institution, or an institution that size, I should say, can absorb 65,000 students in population from the University of Phoenix. Third part of that, how Idaho plans to pay for those legal troubles they.
Yeah, they had a lot of lawsuits regarding the GI Bill. That's why the GI Bill wasn't connected with their shit no more. They're like, no. They had enough. They had enough.
Alluded to if that would arise, and if the school has a plan to stop the exploitation of veterans that they said earlier as well, and
That's
what
some of the
brand
lawsuits
of the University of Idaho would look like going forward as well. So there's some accusatory language in here. I understand that, but the university confronted that on their own with their question. So the senators say Phoenix has 7 failing programs. Idaho's response, they say the University of Phoenix cut those programs in 2010. They have not accepted new students in those fields since 2010. They say that's not a problem anymore. Well, how can Idaho support their 7,000 students if the University of Phoenix is going to bring in another 65,000?
They don't have to. It's online. They don't have to leave fucking Arizona or Connecticut. And that's the beautiful thing. Because then it just inflates their numbers, even though they don't have to take on the actual staff in order to manage those numbers.
Yes. That's
How many
absolutely
people?
true.
This is the truth. There's 12,000 students right there. Do you not think because of all the stuff that's been going on, it's not going to go up to 15,000 minimum next year? Damn straight. Do you think that the 65,000 students, which it's not, it's 85, but do you think that the 65,000 students that they're talking about right now is going to be 65,000 next year or even the year after that? No, it's going to continue to grow because their ass is going to be out there being talked about. And there's no way, ifs, ands, or buts to not talk about them because they're connected to this crime and they're making money off that shit too. So the more people that know about the University of Idaho, bad press or good press to Scott Green is damn good press because it's all about his business decisions. And when you look at the business decision, let's be real. Let's not fault this guy because if you look at it from a business perspective, he's making the decisions after the decisions. He's blindfolding people. They're having to give the thumbs up, and he don't have to be responsible for shit but $10 million. And the people upstairs are going, standing ovation, bravo, Scott Green. That's what they're doing. They're giving him a damn standing ovation for pulling this shit off. And it ain't pulled off yet. There's still time. But you know, they're ready. They're ready to pop that champagne.
The U of I says that Phoenix is an online school with support systems in place. There are enough services for everyone. They say that's not going to change. Third piece here, how does Idaho plan to cover any liabilities? Well, Idaho says that's not their problem. Remember, the University of Idaho is not buying the University of Phoenix.
No.
A not-for-profit corporation buys the University.
That resides at the Kibby Dome.
Phoenix acquisition is the
Please
verb
say
they're
it.
using there.
Please say
but
it.
then they'll work in tandem with the University of Idaho once that sale goes through. Idaho President Scott Green says that
When you live at the University of Idaho Kibby Dome, you're a part of the fucking university.
protects the state from liability. Last piece here, how can Idaho ensure veterans will not be targeted through predatory recruiting? Well, the University of Idaho says 20% of students at the University of Phoenix were supported on the GI Bill. That's what you get for serving in active service. They pay your tuition back. But that was in the mid-2000s. It's now down to 9% now. Finally, what is Idaho's brand after this affiliation? Idaho says they're still Idaho. The University of Phoenix is still the University of Phoenix.
Yeah, they
school
gotta
will act
keep it.
independently and share resources through a partner agreement. The purpose of that not-for-profit transaction, in part, is to move the University of Phoenix away from a for-profit business model that a lot of these senators
Bullshit. It's so you're not liable for their damages, you sneaky ass motherfucker.
seem to be having a problem with here, Joe. So Idaho goes in their response letter to say that the University of Phoenix has a strong online IT program, investing $600 million, more than $500 million in the last 5 years into that infrastructure. Idaho wants to provide opportunities to rural remote parts of the state. They say this online infrastructure is a way they're going to do it.
And Andrew, I know there's a lot of things going on like adjacent to this whole situation. Like I understand there's a lawsuit against State Board of Education here in Idaho for greenlighting this process in the first place. What's the update on there? I know that there was an alleged open meeting violation.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was when the State Board of Education was meeting to figure out what they want to do exactly, if they want to pursue this affiliation, I should say, Joe. AG Raul Labrador did say there was an open meeting violation. That's still working its way through the courts right now. That hasn't gone anywhere yet. So certain things need to line up for this to be finalized. The University of Idaho anticipates early next year. But yes, that is still something that's on our radar that could impact this going forward.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the deal is trying to go through on January 2nd or 3rd or whatever the next work day is after the 1st. I wouldn't be surprised, because the way that they sprung it on this community is going to be the same way that they're going to do this shit again. And there's your location for the new nonprofit organization right there. There's your home office, everybody. Look at the beautiful windows.
Let me see. Want to throw up?
It's horrible.
Did you go by there, CJ, when you were there?
That was the first, when I first went to Moscow and went to the crime, 1122. That was the road that it took me, because I went there, and I actually drove. I kind of parked. If you go, there's like a circle and a circle back, and then you drive up just a short distance. That's where I parked for the vigil when I went there. Brian was kind of set up by there, but as you turned onto this road from 270, that's where KTVB was set up. They were set up there on the corner. But yeah, it was cold that night. I thought I was going to get sick.
Yep, very cold.
It was very dark. So thank you all so much. I appreciate it. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. If I'm live, I might just pop on at the last minute. I don't expect anybody to hop in. I know you all got your family or traveling to do, so please be safe.
Well, the morning's good for me. So if you're gonna do something, the morning's good for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna be hanging around here. So I even thought about maybe doing a sports show or something while football's on. I don't know. I might even not do nothing, but I'll definitely I'll message you ahead of time if I do if I am gonna pop on for a show. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you guys' company, your conversation. Another good night of interesting conversation, facts. Please share this information, even if it is just the links that I shared with you, even if it has nothing to do with the show. Please share this information. Let's get this talked about. Let's stop this backhanded bullshit from taking place if we can, because you know damn well that they can't say it for themselves. So
yeah,
thank you, everybody. Appreciate
thank
you.
CJ.
No, thank you, and thank you, Jinx, too.
Thank you for bringing this up. Yes, and you know what? It takes certain people to do what they have to do to bring something to the attention of the public. And you won't be the most popular person, but at least you will have done something that makes you feel good. Like you
that's
did
why
good.
it's what fuels my soul. It's why when I wake up, when people tell me you need to take a break, you need to, it's like, no, you don't understand. I may not even be here tomorrow. So why would I take a break today? There's no reason. These family members are going through stuff that there's no reason any of them should have to go through. So as long as I'm here, I've done what I've done and what I was meant to be here for, most of it already. And now this is another part, another phase where this is what it is. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm not living for me. This is for the people that shouldn't even have to go through this shit. And if it means talking about all this shit because they can't or they're not allowed, fuck it. I was always that kid in school that stood up for people that didn't want to stand up for themselves. I'm doing it here on YouTube too. It's just who I am. It's how I've always been. It's how I've always tried to protect people that I care about. And that's why I say it's 150, because I am a loyal ass motherfucker. Period. Even if you are my enemy, I'm loyal as shit.
Innocent until yes, I was a lurker. I didn't chat. I didn't do anything. I just watched, And finally, I took a step and I called in like to CJ's show only because I felt comfortable. You know, like he'd just say fuck and shit, and I mean it was just kind of like real, like there wasn't anything like I was it's just like somebody that I could hang out with, you know, like somebody that I knew, like somebody, you know, and a lot of the people that I deal with are very snooty patooty. They're doctors and lawyers and you know, yeah, I get it. I gotta do that kind of thing too. But in reality, it really got me going, this case. And I've been involved with a university case, and this is just like, oh my God, do people not learn from their mistakes? Like, can you look at history? I mean, can you look at all of these tragedies involving universities? Especially the things that happen in California with regard to death and people's loved ones. I mean, it's like you have no idea what I've been through. And that was the first 3 years of being a law student. And so I mean, not a law student, but an attorney. I mean, I just graduated law school. The first 3 years was unbelievable for me. I've done more in the first 3 years of my career than I have throughout. And it was suing public entities. And this brings me back to the public entity issue. And it's just like I can't sit still. I gotta talk.
I can't either, and I have to talk too. It's just you come across like I didn't even feel this way until I went out there, and that's when I was like, this community, some of it is not thriving like it should when the university is making so much money. And then when I came back home from my trip and I started to look into it, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
I know,
this is
I know.
about to happen now when I just came back and I witnessed what I witnessed. No.
Well, maybe someday you can do a members only where I talk about my case.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to have a
Because
conversations with CJ
it's
episode
scary
sometime
what
where
happens.
we just talk about you and your experiences. I think it'd be a great show.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to, I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about universities in California. I'm just going to talk about my experience, which is my experience.
No, I'm saying
Nobody can.
just your life experience in general, you know.
Yeah,
growing
and
up.
the cases that I've handled, which
Yeah. From
just
beginning to
lead me
end,
to
I think it'd
believe
be a
that,
great.
yeah,
Yeah, let's do it whenever you want. I'm down to do it.
yeah.
It's conversations
I
with
mean,
CJ. We'll
there's
set
a
it
story
up.
to everybody, right?
Yeah, I would love to do it. I would love to do it anytime.
Yeah, there's no,
Just set
yeah,
aside
I would
3
love to do it
hours.
too.
I'm sure
And I think I'm
sure it'll
ready.
take a while. So set aside
Yeah.
3 to 4 hours because I'm sure our
Man, this case,
conversation will go probably 3 or 4 hours. No lying. Yeah.
yeah, and you know what? With this whole genetic DNA thing and the ancestry thing, the coincidences that happened, with regard to when this whole thing was at issue in the court, I was getting emails about, hey, you know, 23andMe is saying you might have a brother or a father. Click here to connect. I mean, that was crazy.
It had to be scary. It would be like if I put myself in that position, I'd be afraid to click it because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a
I'm
weird
like, I
situation.
don't have a fucking, I don't have a father
Yeah.
or a brother.
It's a
well,
weird
I do. I guess I do, but anyway, it worked out. I'm glad I connected with you because it worked out. So anyway, you're on
Yeah,
point.
thank you.
I think you're on point, and we don't want to go crazy into all these theories. I think the issue, and I've always said, is fear. That whole town is crippled by fear. I feel it.
They
I
have a
don't know.
strength. The university runs that motherfucker. That's why recently I just started, you know what?
Yeah.
I know why Chief Fry said that the community didn't have a reason to worry is because of the university's pressure. because they already had a vandal alert out a couple hours before that statement was made.
Yeah. Well,
the university runs that town.
no. I get it. It's kind of.
How do they get funded? The LE, how do they get funding? Think about it.
Wow.
Where's their funding?
You know, I know that in criminal law it's very different, and they don't really take depositions, but in civil it's a little bit different. But in any event, I do appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate listening to this. So
yeah, thank you so much.
Until the next time.
Yeah, I'll send you a message ahead of time if I'm going to be hopping on in the morning. So I'll let you know. And then, like I said, I'm gonna wake up and then I'm gonna be like, all right, because it's one of those days where it's like I might just take the whole day and kind of rearrange the studio or something. I don't know. I just don't know. But if we don't see you tomorrow, have a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Thank you so much. Please travel safely. Enjoy the time with your loved ones. We never know if we're here tomorrow. So please tell everybody you love them and appreciate them. And please be safe. Thank you, everybody. I can't wait until the next time we have a show. And we say, what's up? Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.